I was just talking and my mic was on mute. So, anyway, first of all, I want to make sure that everyone can hear me and that it's not muffled. And then I want to say hello to Lazy Day, Miss Sanders, Black but not bitter, obsessed with the mess, Shirley's divorce papers, paralegal ish, real, Vic to the Veil, Scorpio 79. Hey y'all. Um, hey Sonny and Sylvester's mugshot, cross country cruise her. Yeah, I heard, I heard that Sylvia was live over there talking and probably talking about stuff she knows nothing about. Who knows? But I decided to come on here because I think it was on Saturday or Sunday, my girl Paralegal-ish and I were talking, and she turned me on to the fact that apparently Nesto's lawyer entered a plea deal. Hey, ball-headed heathen. So thank you so much. I want to make sure. Can y'all hear me? Thumbs up, please. I just want to make sure that I'm not going through muffled. So anyway, Paralegal-ish, she turned me on to some stuff, and we were reading, and then I heard Sylvia was over there talking. Like I said, probably not knowing what she's talking about. So I decided, well, I'm going to go live and talk about what I know. Now, here's the thing. I hear that she's saying Sylvia's deal, hey, Deborah C., was denied. I don't understand why the judge would have a whole conversation with her during her hearing, the hearing that Sylvia did not see because she was calling security. So, hey, Mecadon and Miss Red. So I don't know how she would know or when exactly she found out this plea deal was rejected, but seems to me that if the judge was going to reject it, he would, number one, do it while they were in court. And how can you reject a plea that hasn't been entered? Now, I can see the plea deal being written up by, say, for example, her attorney, and then the prosecution looking over it and saying, no, we're not going to accept this. But I can't see a judge saying they're rejecting a deal that hasn't even been entered. So, I mean, I know that Sylvia likes to consider herself boots on the ground and knowing everything because, she's a courtroom blogger. But as we have seen in the past, that's not necessarily true. I mean, we know that she tried to say that Sonia was, first of all, involved in Nesto's case as far as, with the fraudulent check with Daniel Diamonds. We know that no one in Fulton County, she's so close to them and always in the courtroom, they didn't bother to tell her they were going to arrest her nor take her outside, just to be considerate, not embarrass her in front of everybody. So I don't know how much, she really knows. But anyway, let's get to this. Let's get into this article that Paralegal-ish turned me on to. I got to pull it up here. I could, here we go. Oh, here, I do have it. So this was an article that was in Baller Alert, and it is dated May the 31st, and it says Shirley Strawberry's estranged husband indicted in Rico case, accused of scamming victims of $750,000 through fraudulent marriage to the radio host. That seems to be the theme that was running, that day that the articles came out. But in Baller Alert, it goes on to talk about, his schemes, what he did, his co-conspirator, Erica King, also known as Erica Hughley. But it says, Williams faces serious charges under the Georgia Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Organization Act. Court records show that his public defender, Sean Hoover, filed a plea agreement for Williams on April the 26th. A hearing for the plea agreement was scheduled, but the court has not listened to a decision. Now, that means that we know he was just in court. This article was written on the 31st by a legitimate publication, as far as I'm concerned, Baller Alert. So if he entered a deal and the judge hasn't even gone through with it yet, then or confirmed or denied, and that there is a court date, but it's appearing to be very much so in a secret location at a secret time. I don't know how Sylvia could know any of this. And like I said, seems to me the judge would have denied Erica's plea right then and there when she was right there in court just the other day. So, like I said, take it for what it's worth. But that is in for anybody who wants to know. And maybe after this live is over, I will post the link so that you guys can find it. But like I said, Baller Alert, very reputable. Mechadon, hey, I don't know if I said hi to you. And Gemini Season, hello. Let's see, G Maat, how are you? So what y'all think about all this? Hey, Real Brown Family Chronicles. What do y'all think about this? Now, let me remember how to get the link. And I am going to put it up because, like I said, I was not in over there listening to her. I just didn't have it in me today. But, somebody probably paralegal-ish and, somebody else can come up and, let me know what that lady is over there saying because I don't know. The link. How do I get the link? Oops, that's not it. Somebody, hey, I said what I said, an old school Nixie, all-headed heathen. I'm not sure. I think I said hi to you already, but come on, paralegalists, tell me what I need to push to get this link up because I can't remember. Hey, that 70s chick. Yeah, 70s chick. I mean, excuse me. I wouldn't go along with what she is saying either because in order for me to believe Sylvia and what she's saying, I need to see it. Hey, Black Auntie, no kids. How are you? Can you tell me what do I hit for the link? I can't remember. Did she ask her chat for 100? Did she ask her chat for $120 for her internet? What's wrong with her internet? Oh, I bet this is how you do it. There you go. I figured it out. So, y'all, what is wrong with her internet? Y'all got me all excited. Why does she need money for her internet? I can't get my link to work. Let me see here. Let me do it again. Let me come out and do it again. Okay, hurry up. My stuff is acting. Okay, here we go. There we go. Now we're here. I want to know about this internet that she's asking for. Somebody come on up here. Tell me what's going on. That the judge did she show? I want to know this. Did she actually show papers to verify that her deal was rejected by the judge? And I oh, that lady. And something else that when you look at, there's 39 counts of his Rico. Erica is only she's only implicated in like she's not even implicated in half of it. She's just implicated in a portion of it. And I can't off the top of my head remember which acts it is, but she's mostly implicated on the conspiracy stuff. So it's not, she's not even in all of the other things and all of the cars and theft by deception. She's not even in all of that. So it stands, after I thought about it for a while, even the 5 year suspension is, it is it is like a gift. But at the same time, we really have to realize that, and we know she has done criminal acts before, but she is not, she doesn't have 39 counts against her like he does. Now, I know in the beginning it seems like she did, but, as of right now, she doesn't have all those counts like he does. So I just can't, I don't see it. And I would like to see proof. Um, yeah, no, the deal was not accepted at the when she was at her hearing. But she could have, she chose not to enter her plea because the judge was going to let her enter her plea and then she'd be sentenced later. But she made the decision that she wanted it all done on the same day. So she decided to wait. So that's still, that's not really a rejection. Hey, coffee is brewing. It's not really a rejection. And the last call that they did, and I did a video on it, was very interesting to me. I found so many things interesting, and I was so confused by, oh, I'm sorry, I have people waiting. I was confused about when they were talking, because the fact that they couldn't remember that June came before July and that it was perfectly normal for the judge or the police or whomever to arrest him in July based off of a June complaint. Why they couldn't see that. And now all of a sudden, Sonia realizes that Roswell is part of Fulton County. I mean, all of these things, it's just amazing to me, that last call we had. But all right, now which one of y'all is going to tell me about, and let me know also out there, hey boss lady 337, hey Shay, let me know if y'all are getting feedback from my mic when everyone else talks so that I can go on mute. And hey, there's somebody, I said hi to Shay, boss lady, phenomenal woman. Hey, phenomenal woman. Okay, somebody, anybody.
Hey, I can
Hello,
go
hello,
first.
hello, hello, hello.
Uh-oh, you sound like Nesto. Hello, 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 hello. No, so listen, I went back and I listened to Pam's video to make sure that I wasn't tripping, okay? And Pam said specifically that Erica accepted the recommendation. She did not accept the plea deal. She did not sign off on anything. And she wanted to wait until the sentencing to do it all together. DA
Mhm.
Wooten originally asked for a short continuance because he wanted to give the 25 victims an opportunity to give a victim impact statement prior to her being sentenced. And that could be beneficial in Erica's case because remember, I told you the last time that based on the victim impact statements, the judge can reject or accept the plea deal based on character, based on what she's been doing since she's been out, the severity of the crimes, and if he feels that she's going to recidivate. And that basically means that is she going to get out and go back to a life of crime, or is she going to go out and be a productive citizen? So, seeing as though she has not agreed to, has not signed anything, I don't see why a judge would reject something when I didn't see anything where both parties got together and had another hearing. So per
Mhm.
IS, she's trying to say that she was running around the court, and she managed to end up in courtroom number whatever, and she listened in on the hearing and heard that they rejected her plea, which I don't believe that at all. I feel like she's just trying to one up everybody like she does every time, tries to clickbait everybody into thinking that she got this groundbreaking news or whatever, so everybody can run over there and run her numbers up and she get a couple of coins.
Okay, let me tell you how I know that is a lie. Because me, on that particular day, I had an iPad on my on. These are things I had on my iPad, my cell phone, this new computer, and a MacBook. And I'm here to tell you that I was watching all kinds of lives all at the same time. And when the lawyer and all of them were in there talking, she was too busy being on her live, mad because Dana J was there and she had to leave the courtroom. Remember, security,
Yes.
because she
Mm-hmm.
was an escort. So I don't understand why she lies. Hey, Gemini season and Deborah C. I don't understand Lisa got plays. Hi. I don't understand why she lies like that, because she gets disproved every single time. And
Mm-hmm.
then
And let
for internet money.
Right. And let me tell you how else I feel that she lying. And I'm not trying to hog all the time, y'all. I promise. I just got to get it out. The other
Mhm.
way I know that she's lying is because people were calling her out on it, and they were like, well, how do you know this happened? Who said what? Basically challenging the argument or whatever. And she was like, well, I don't know if she, accepted it in the first place. And I don't know, what the stipulations of the plea deal was. Remember, I wasn't up there. I couldn't go into the courtroom. So if you don't even know what the stipulations of the plea deal were, how are we to trust that you giving us accurate information? You just running your mouth. She stays running her mouth. It's sad. It's so sad. Like, just stay on YSL. If that's where you feel like that's where you thrive, that's cool. You said, or she said months ago she wasn't gonna talk about this Nesto case no more. But then she gets the feeling left out, or I guess the numbers ain't doing what she wants. Did she come back and start lying? It's ridiculous.
Now I see that there's someone. Hey, JC, and that girl. I see that there's someone in the chat saying that the plea was rejected today. She didn't have. You have a plea can't be rejected without a hearing. There has to anything that is done in a criminal. There has to be a hearing, unless it's something that's being etched out or and paralegal. You're a paralegal. Number one, and number two, I mean, you know about the law. That's what I meant to say. And number two, don't worry about your time up here. If the conversation is flowing and things are being said that need to be said, I don't care how long somebody stays up here. So that's all I wanted to know. I mean, these types of deals are made. Um, it has to go on record. So when was her hearing? When did it go on record today that if this is the case, if this is what Sylvia is saying, when is it on record? Because
Right.
this is what JC is saying. So I don't know if hey, Lady T Bug, I don't know if Lisa Lulu, hey, I don't know if maybe perhaps she saw something, but there has to be a hearing. Y'all, I'm getting excited and I'm starting to talk fast and whatnot because I wouldn't even say excited. I'm getting frustrated because I know it's a lie. That's all. That's
Right.
all.
Well,
I
see,
know.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Saunders. I'm sorry. I'm
No,
just
no,
running
you're
my mouth.
fine. You're fine.
Okay.
We can live and take here. We are adults, okay? We can discuss things
You
and
right.
may
You
not
right.
agree or disagree, and we don't like call people out and call. That is just. I love to study human behavior, and I find it
Mm-hmm.
so strange going over there and listening to IS. And I love it when Legacy Moon goes because she comes back with a migraine. I'm so sorry about that for you. But she brings
Mm-hmm.
me the most important things because I don't know why. I'm attracted to the chaos there, but I
Mm-hmm.
can't stay there because it makes me feel so uncomfortable. Um, but I was listening today and I was listening to what she was saying, and I felt
Mm-hmm.
very strange. There was no that like there was no I guess she didn't have a chance to get a rule 22 to actually
Mm-hmm.
record the hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Then on top of that, it just seemed like she was mashing up to that what apparently happened today and what
Mhm.
also happened in the weeks prior. And I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, so what are we talking about? Are we saying that the judge rejected the plea today? Based on what? And it
Right.
was almost like she was saying, oh, it's not fair because if you have a Rico, two people have to
Mhm.
be accused of something, in which
Mhm.
two people are. One person just happened to get a plea deal
Mhm.
versus the other did not. And then she also addressed the fact that why, if this is, guys, just think about this. If you really think about it, it makes sense. You know, why didn't they add the actual crimes a part of the
Mhm.
RICO? I mean, a RICO's
Mhm.
all in one. And I'm like, well, a RICO is more than one person.
Mhm.
And not more than one person that we are aware of was
Mhm.
involved in the actual crimes.
Mhm.
So it does not fit underneath for Rico. It
Mhm.
was
You
just so confusing.
let
It
me
was just,
say this right quick. We don't know. I said this before. We don't know that there have not been other people arrested. We just haven't
we
heard of.
don't.
We don't know because this man has committed crimes. You got to realize in Virginia, California, I think I heard Tennessee, and then Kentucky. We
Hmm.
don't know how far out his network goes, and whether or not other people have been arrested and it's been under wraps. Because in a RICO, they really want the big fish, so pretty much everybody's going to get a deal in a RICO.
Hmm.
So that's all I'm
Hmm.
saying. We don't know that someone else hasn't been arrested. We just may not have connected it, or they might not have said.
What
Go
she
ahead.
doesn't understand is in regards to Erica, like a lot of people may think it's unfair for her to get off, but the way courts work, if it's a way for them to save money, time, resources, they're gonna do that. So it's easier for them to give her a sweet deal, save some money, save time getting other witnesses, all of this other stuff, get her to testify and let her go on her merry way, right? To get tell me everything you know about this man, when, where, how, all of that. So it is what it is. They do that all the time. They do that all the time. That's just the way the court works. So honestly, with the justice system, it doesn't even boil down to fair and unfair. It's about money and time. We want to get this case going. We want to get you on your merry way, lock whoever we can up, and move to the next case. So she just doesn't know what she's talking about.
Let me also say that several content creators, and I'm not going to go into it because it's in the members, but part of the case, what's on record, and what's going to be presented at trial, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people don't know about. And one of the things is 7,000, I think 7,020 files that came from Erica Kane. We don't
Mm-hmm.
what's on those files and how much it implicates Nesto. We don't
Right.
know. So I mean, this woman has been cooperating. I remember when she went to her
Mm-hmm.
bond hearing, they asked for a. They said they wanted a proffer.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when also keep in mind, when she was arrested, she talked immediately when she was
Mm-hmm.
arrested. Whereas Nesto hollered lawyer. And I think at the time he didn't realize Erica was arrested either because that's the lawyer he was trying to contact. So, she's been talking from like day one. He was the one who thought he was gonna slither on out of all of this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um,
I'm
but
done.
but I guess because of her emotional attachment to the people involved in the case, she's so oblivious to the blind spots that are there and can't clearly see that there's a legal system that goes beyond your relationship,
Mm-hmm.
which I find very intriguing because it's like that can be a study in itself of how, as a reporter, which has happened before to other reporters, how they get too close to the case and they become the case,
Right.
which I think is so interesting. And I know it has nothing to do in a sense with the case, but the psychology of it is what brings me into the enjoyment of it.
And another thing that people don't realize or may not even know, the things that we've been made privy to, they may not even use that in court. They never
Mm.
tell you everything they're going to use. So there are a lot of phone calls that won't be released to phone calls from prison, specifically because they'll use that in court. Discovery that we won't be privy to because what they have to use it in court. A lot of those witnesses, we're not going to know for sure who they're going to call because they don't know yet. They still got to do more research. And then, like, once they interview who they think they want to call, the defense has to do what's known as depositions to see if they want to challenge that witness. Like, it's so much that goes into that. So, people that just don't know, I just get tired of like all the speculation and all of these theories and this, that, and the third. Just leave it alone and don't lie. Like, just don't make up anything. If you don't have anything to say about it, just don't. Just don't. And go get a job if you need a couple of dollars for whatever internet bill or whatever it is that you're trying to do. Because this ain't it. And it's dangerous when you sit up there and make up lies like you do.
Mm.
So wait a minute, y'all. Just give me a minute. So she needs money to pay for what kind of internet does she have? $140. I mean, what does I don't know. I mean,
I
to
don't
me,
know. She showed the receipt.
the cable. I mean,
I don't know.
It's some kind
she
of AT&T bill she put up or
Hmm.
whatever. It's for like $119 or whatever it was. I
let
don't
me tell
know.
y'all something. Let me tell y'all something. I have friends and I have family. Families. I have friends and I have family. But let me tell you what I'm not going to do. I am not going to get up on this YouTube and let anybody know if I'm struggling to pay a bill. I'm just not going to do it because that opens the
Hmm.
door to be clowned. You know, I would
Right.
just talk to my close personal friends, just whoever I got to talk to. Or you know what? Guess what? Let it go for a month if you can. But I
Hmm.
never get on here and try to collect money for a bill. You know, maybe if I got some type of emergency surgery and couldn't pay it, or so I don't know, but I that's just not me. That is just so unprofessional, right, Queen Brielle? I just wanted
She
to say
doesn't
hi to
have
you.
any shame. She doesn't have any shame. It's
That's
No,
awful.
yeah,
that's
I
just
agree. Hmm.
so we can all agree that she pretty much doesn't know what she's talking about and she's making it up
Hmm.
as she goes. Now, since we're on the subject of Ricos, we can merge this into this conversation. Does anybody think Puffy can catch a Rico? Because I do.
Most definitely.
Oh, yes. You know, I've been
I
going over all of those lawsuits. Absolutely.
I see what they did, you know, with what happened with R. Kelly and you know every who else. Now Epstein, he wasn't in a Rico, but it's just looking at it. It just to me, and I heard that they arrested his sons. Now I saw the article, but
Hmm.
I didn't read it. Not Quincy, but the other two sons. They said that they have been detained again. I'll say
Hmm.
detained. And all of the things said here today are is allegedly. But
Hmm.
I really think that this man is going to fool around and catch a Rico based on all of the lawsuits and everything that is being said about him. If anybody
Hmm.
deserves one, it's him because he is in a lot. The trafficking, I did a video before where it kind of speaks about his trafficking of people. He had the guy, is it Stevie something? I can't think of his
Stevie
name right
J.
now. The one who's got the lawsuit against him right now.
Stevie J.
Um, no. The young man who is suing him for
Oh,
uh,
that's Rodney Jones.
Rodney. Okay, him. He mentioned he talks about how when they would go to Miami, there was a specific hat that he would have to wear going to this
Hmm.
club so that the women would know, okay, he's with Puffy, and they would come back with him, and how he had underage girls. We know all of these things about him. So to me, that alone is enough for trafficking. I did something about where Young Miami, in addition to his dealer who had been arrested, Young Miami has also transported narcotics allegedly from to and from different places for him. They said it's called the pink something, and I forgot what it's a mixture of, but it's a
I think
mixture of
it's
something.
it's the white powder with. I think it's safe to say the East. I'll just spell it ECTASY and something else.
Okay, yeah, that sounds familiar.
Hmm.
Hmm.
That sounds
Hmm.
familiar. So what do y'all think about that?
I think he definitely has a better chance of getting charged with a RICO compared to Epstein, because
Hmm.
the difference is Epstein had so many people that were associated in the case that were in the government itself that could kind of shut the case down or refrain the case from going forward as fast. Versus Puffy seems like he messed around with people that he hired. So he had always had a level of power over them. So these people, not to say they have an axe to grind, but they kind of do have an axe to grind. And also, these people have been affected financially or emotionally and some actually by his actions. So I think the RICO is so large that it may be, where do we start? How do we, tease things out, and how do
Hmm.
we go forward within a matter of time? Because I just feel like if you give him 5 years to put this RICO together, I don't know if he's still going to be a part of our, living society in a sense. I just think he's going to try and, remove himself from the situation versus living through the process if he had a choice.
Hmm.
You know
That's
what?
just my opinion.
What I want to see them really uh, hold him to the fire, and this here is allegedly too. I will always believe that he had something to do with Kim Porter's unaliving. And I know there are people who are now coming out making little comments, but the only people who made that accusation and stood fast in it was Kamora Lee Simmons and Albie Shore. And we see it's funny that, Albie Shore got this mysterious illness that nobody could figure out what was going on when he started making the accusation. And then when Kamora Lee Simmons, she has been dropping hints all along, but right after the thing with Cassie came out, and more and more information started coming out with that and other victims, her house mysteriously was ablaze. So, and then we also know about how when Cassie was, it was a Kid Cudi. Apparently, they were really good friends, and Puffy threatened him and said, come around her again, and I'm gonna blow your car up. And then his car was blown up. So we
Hmm.
know how this man gets down. He even he had the bodyguard that time that Cassie did get away. He had that bodyguard track him down and bring her back. So this man's crimes, I would not put anything past him. Nothing at all.
I agree. When I went through the lawsuits, I saw mail fraud, wire fraud, transporting narcotics, what is that, overstate lines or whatever, the P word with minors, so the PROST, with minors.
Oh, wait a minute.
Um,
Let me interrupt you for a minute.
uh-huh.
Paralegal Ish has on her channel. She's done, how many is it? Like four videos, a series, like kind of, I want to say, on Puffy. So y'all check that out.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. You always, thank you. Um, and then X trafficking of minors and others. So I think so. A lot of financial crimes, bribery, um, things of that nature. Now, what I'm wondering is it going to be the same thing with a lot of plea deals? Because there are a lot of people, including lawyers, who have been taking hush money for him to commit these crimes.
I heard, in addition to lawyers, I heard that there were law officials as well, police officers
Mm-hmm.
taking money to hush things up. Like the shooting at the studio, they said
Yes.
that was covered up by the police, and
Mm-hmm.
it's all coming out now.
Sure is. Yes.
So, with all this coming out, do you honestly think that they're going to have a case against him, or do you think they're going to cower back, you know, um, out of fear of retaliation?
Like
Go ahead.
maybe people that they couldn't get in contact or people to cooperate, maybe they'll retaliate against what, the FBI, or just other
No,
people who have come forward.
just other people that have come forward. I mean, like these legal officials that know something and are part of the process of covering up for him. To come out would not only bring shame upon themselves, their family, and their career, it would also shed light on what else have he been covering up. So I'm just concerned that because it's so many people that are in that power status, that a lot of things that we want to come out to actually get this person that may have allegedly committed these crimes off the street won't occur. I don't know if it will or not. I guess that's the question that I'm posing.
That's interesting. I don't, it's hard to say because I know I'm reviewing the Rolling Stone article right now. I don't know if you guys have seen that. And they did like a
Mhm.
6-month investigation and they actually reached out to 340 individuals. Only 50 of them
Mhm.
responded with
Mhm.
information, and the other people are scared to talk. So
Yeah.
I guess it just boils down to who has the information that they need and if these people can potentially be accomplices or not, if that makes sense. So, like, if somebody's withholding information about, let's say, like a grape or whatever, it just depends on the severity of it, I would think. And if that person could be facing charges because they know information that they're not offering up, or if it's just information, you know what I mean, to help their case and they can move on, if that makes sense. So,
No,
like,
it
I
does.
guess it boils down to, can you be charged with the crime or not? And if so, you better talk or we gonna put you in jail. Which one you gonna do? Because if it's me, I'm singing like a canary. I don't care how much money you gave me in the past. I'm not going to jail for nobody.
That's how I feel. Somebody told me to put up my allegedly
Mhm.
banner. You know what? I have to work on that because I tried to do it and I couldn't figure it out. But I'm gonna
Oh,
get
I'll
that
show
figured.
you how to do it. I can show you how to do it real quick.
Oh, how you do it?
So look on the right hand side and see
Uh
where it says brand. I believe
huh.
it's brand. If you click that, no, it's banner. I'm sorry. It should say banner or brand.
Okay.
Okay, so
All
where you
right.
see banner, you click that, and then you could just type in like fair use, disclaimer,
Okay. Cool.
everything is alleged, whatever. And then you hit ticker. Isn't that how you, yeah, ticker at the bottom, and then it'll flash across the screen for you at the bottom.
Okay. Hey, Nola Brown. Now somebody also asked for paralegal ish to check out the new lawsuit against the Dream. I know I heard today that he was,
What?
Mhm.
he's being accused of grape.
Mhm.
Wait,
So
y'all. Okay, first of all, let me tell
Talk
y'all
to me.
something. Well, Legacy already knows. I had a migraine the other day. I was really
Mm.
lazy yesterday, and then today I just was overstimulated this morning because I was cooking my kids a pizza, and some of the cheese fell down to the floor of the oven and it got really smoky. And then my alarm went off and the fire department was almost on its way. So I had a crazy morning.
Oh
So I
no.
didn't get to do anything. So I'm behind with my Diddy lawsuits. I have one more to go. Then I want to do the Rolling Stone article. But did y'all see today where this young lady just filed a lawsuit against Kanye?
No.
no.
What? See, I got it. Tomorrow I have to buckle down and get it done. There's a new lawsuit against Kanye, and she's alleging that I guess he held her hostage and tried to grape her and actually assault her and all of this stuff. It's like a 35-page lawsuit.
Mm.
So I've been trying to go through that. I had no idea that there was a lawsuit against the Dream. Let me look. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that today.
It says the woman, Shanaz Monroe, filed a lawsuit in Los Angeles District Court against, oh, that's his name, as well as the record label Epic Records and company co-owned by, what is this, Gastelade? I don't know how to pronounce this.
I don't eat
Called
Terriers is all I know.
called Cobra Paris LLC. In the lawsuit, Monroe alleges that he made extravagant promises to help jumpstart her music career, telling her he would make her the next Beyonce and Rihanna. Instead, she alleges he raped her, strangled her, and psychologically manipulated her, including allegedly making a video of a actual encounter and threatening to show it to other people.
Mm,
Oh.
Oh wow.
where
I
was
don't
it?
know.
Was this filed in New? Oh, was this filed in New York?
Um, it was filed in. It doesn't say. It just talks about the lawsuit. It doesn't say it's a. Oh.
I
Let me
find it.
see. Well, in case you guys are wondering, his representatives have not responded, but I'm assuming a statement was provided to the New York Times denying the allegations. So that's what his people are saying. And this Mangro person was born in the Netherlands and has used the professional name of Cheney Monroe. Um, Now it doesn't say, but I'm willing to bet it's New York. Oh wow, this thing. Oh my goodness, have y'all heard? I'm gonna, if y'all don't mind, I'm gonna go ahead and read the rest of this. It says Mangro alleges that the dream almost immediately began pursuing her for X after meeting her, saying that X with him was part of the process. Within days of their first meeting, she alleges in the suit that he locked her in a dark room at the house with a recording studio where he would only stop aggressively having X with her once she said she loved him. Over the course of several over the course of several following months, the suit alleges that the dream led her into an abusive, violent, and manipulative relationship filled with physical assault, violent sexual encounters, and horrific psychological manipulation. According to Monroe, the dream frequently forced her into a violent acts, refused to wear a raincoat, demanded that she engage in sexual acts in public against her will, forced her to drink alcohol excessively by roughly pulling her head back by her hair and pouring alcohol down her throat on multiple occasions, strangled her during intimate encounters so intensely that she almost lost consciousness. She also alleges that on one occasion, he raped her in the back of a van. Monroe's suit cites California's Sexual Abuse and Cover Up Accountability Act, which allows people to file suits on sexual assault accusations even if the statute of limitation has expired on the alleged incident. In a written statement sent by NPR on Tuesday by her attorneys, Douglas Wagdor, Mangor said, choosing to speak out about the trauma I survived has been one of the most difficult decisions of my life. But ultimately, what Dream did to me made it impossible to live the life I envisioned for myself and pursue my goals as a singer and a songwriter. Ultimately, my silence has become too painful, and I realize that I need to tell my story to heal. I hope that doing so will also help others and prevent future horrific abuse. My goodness. Oh,
So New
this
York
is
and
yes.
California, they have that new Violent Gender Act that, well, you read it already. It extends the statute of limitations. So a lot of people are coming out now, especially like women who were minors when, the acts occurred. They can now, speak on their speak for themselves I can't talk, as adults with these lawsuits because of these new acts in California and New York. So a lot of people, y'all, are coming forward. You got Kanye, you got The Dream, Diddy. Wasn't it somebody else recently? I could have
Well,
swore.
Johnny Kingston, but that was like financial more so now.
Okay.
Um, but there was a actual assault case against him recently. Um,
Y'all, this is a
ooh,
kind of a trigger warning conversation. I just want to say,
I wonder once again, here I go with the analytical psychological thought process of it all. I wonder what this is saying and how we can examine the relationship between not male artists, but just artists, period. This perception of power and the attachment that they have to, I don't want to say abuse because I don't think they naturally go into it. It's more so I get what I want. This is what I
Mm-hmm.
want. I get it. And that is the intriguing part that I am interested in. I'm also interested in the women that are attracted to this. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
not to say that you're putting yourself in a position or you should be harmed. By all means, no. But it's just understanding what the perception is and what can possibly happen and how do you protect yourself. I just think this is so intriguing. It's a learning lesson, but besides the legal part of it, understanding the mindsets of those people that are attracted to abuse. I think because there are women that are, or there are men that are attracted to abuse. I'm not saying these women were, but I'm just trying to understand it, as best as possible, and to allow others to gain understanding, to prepare themselves to have meaningful relationships. I wonder, how is Cassie, how does she go from Puffy to her husband that she has now? I mean, they're polar opposites. What healing process does she have to go through? I would love to know that. You know, how was she able to heal in order to receive love and give love? Even to her children. I mean, I think, yeah. I'm sorry, guys. This is. I love true crime, or what I love about it is analyzing the mentality and the thoughts and the behaviors of the people that are involved in it.
oh, that's
Not.
okay because I'm
Mhm.
the same way. That's what I like, and that
Mhm.
I went to school for that, so um, I like that portion of true crime as well. The things that people are able to do to other people is just shocking. And
Mhm.
I also like the fact and the tools that are used to catch these people who do these crimes. But the psychopathy of it has always been interesting to me because I would like to know. And I'm going to say this now, we all know that, Sylvia seems to have an attraction to cases or people. I won't even say cases, I'll say get herself involved in people who have been charged with SA crimes and stuff.
Mhm.
And there is a name for that. I can't think of it right now, but it is a name for it. And I'm interested in her mind because how
Sure.
can you,
Yes.
especially knowing that your mother was a victim of this?
Mhm.
I don't understand, and I want to understand how
Sure.
that mind works.
Mhm. Most
Don't they
definitely.
call that trauma bonding? Is that what it is?
Well,
No.
no, it's
No.
literally a psychological term for people
Mhm.
who become attracted to and into the
Deviant
sexual
behavior.
perversion of someone
Mhm.
else.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. I
Mm.
don't know.
No,
So,
I forgot what the term is as well. Unsavory attraction. It is very unsavory, but I think it starts with an H. I don't remember the term.
Okay.
Um, but I do know it's definitely like a person is attracted to criminals or those
Mm-hmm.
with deviant behavior, and it's like, why it, yeah, once again you're asking why, why is
Yeah.
that, what's within that person that their attraction is to some, and then maybe because of power, a lot of psychological issues kind of stem from the need or the desire to have power or to have this relationship with the person that has power, so then I won't be affected or I won't be the weaker one. because
Mhm.
once you've been
Mhm.
abused, a lot of times you want to be the person that has the power so you don't get abused again. That's why I found Shirley so interesting because her first husband was also a felon. So you
Mhm.
would have thought I'm going to gain power in my next relationship. I'm not
Mm.
going to be involved with a felon. I'm not going to be involved with someone that has a criminal past. I want to make sure that I can prepare and put myself on a higher pedestal than that. I'm worth more. I don't know if she actually truly healed in order to gain from that level of understanding in order to put herself in that position.
You know
So would you?
something about, I'm sorry, but you know something else
Okay.
about, um, Sylvia once made this comment, and she said, everybody keeps talking about R. Kelly and Aaliyah. That was so long ago. People just need to leave that in the past. And she said
Mhm.
the same thing about, the 14-year-old victim that he had the golden shower on. She made that comment
Mhm.
about him too. And I find it very interesting. I don't care if it was done 50 years ago. It's still a crime. And it
Mhm.
should not have happened.
Not
So do
only
you
shouldn't it
think?
have happened, you wonder, how did that person change? What
Right.
did they do to change? What is the process that they went through? See, I mean, I just feel like if you're going to give a felon a chance, I would have to see growth. And
Mhm.
like, I can honestly say Drake can show me some form of growth. You know,
Mhm.
Nesto never could. He showed you a
Mhm.
physical sign, but you
Mhm.
never saw the mental change. You never saw the discussion change. His depth of conversation was so low, you definitely know there was no change. So I just find it very interesting how you can just let things go and never see the growth of a person.
Mhm.
No. I'm
So would
sorry,
you say
paralegal.
that was? It's okay. Would you say that's more of a, what do they call it? A savior's complex?
Yes, yes, yes,
Because,
most
like with
definitely.
Shirley, what
Mhm.
I see is she knew his past, right?
Mhm.
And you would hear her say, everyone has a past. She always would say that. But then I think once he really started to show his true colors, in her mind, she thought she could save him. If I
Mm,
bring you
mhm.
around the right people, if I give you certain scriptures to read, if you see how I live my life, or just even her showing that she can be a forgiving person. Yeah, you made a
Mm,
mistake, but God is going to forgive you, and you just got to keep praying. And, all of that. I think that's what I see in her. It's like she desperately wants to see the good in people, no matter how bad they are. And it's the same thing with IS. You notice, like, if you watch when she goes to visit him, it's like, how am I trying to put it? She desperately wants him to see the good in her.
mm,
Even though he's a bad person, you know what I mean? It's like she holds herself to a high standard. Well, I can preach this to you, I can suggest this to you, and she has all of these words of wisdom for him or whatever, but he doesn't see who she is, and she ignores who he really is, but she needs to see him in a certain light.
But here's the thing about him. She hates the bold and the beautiful. Here's the thing about him. She has seen, even before she started to see him and have these Bible studies, she's seen
Mhm.
how watch him. He's talked about everybody. Dre, he talks about Dre to Sonya, Sonya to Dre, Sonya to Dion, Dion to Sonya. I mean, we've seen him. We've witnessed it, and she
Mhm.
witnessed those same calls, but yet she tends to be on his side, and I just don't get that, and let me say this. She says that God told her to do this, and I would buy it. If God told her to go and have Bible study and pray with the man, I would buy it. But why
Mhm.
do you then have to take those prayers and the Bible study and post it up on your channel so people can look at it so you can get paid? This is where I separate you from believing that. I mean, I'm not going to question anybody's spiritual walk, but when you say this is the message from God. Are you telling me that he also told you to profit off of this Bible study and all the things that you're doing with this man? You can't make me believe that. So I don't know if her motives are sinister at the same time as being, thank you, uh, tiptoe through the pretty tulips. She came up with, she has the name hybristophilia.
Okay.
Who
Oh.
are attracted to people who do those crimes. And I mean, I really see her as this.
That's it. Yeah.
And I still wonder. I mean, this is terrible to say, but she has said this, so I can repeat it. She had said that her mother fathered two children by her father, her mother's father. So I keep wondering, is she one of those children? I'm really interested. Not that that would help with my psychopathy of her, but it might maybe
It
give me
would.
a bit more understanding. I don't know.
Hmm. It would.
I
It
think
would give you
it
a
just
better
boils
understanding.
down, I think it boils down to her wanting people to be proud of her and look up to her. And she's using God as a way for people to do so.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of people that do that because they know most everybody is looking for some type of spiritual guidance. And if you know the right buzzwords to say, people will follow you no matter what bad you do, no matter if you curse, whatever. If you say the right buzzwords to people who are looking for, like I said, spiritual guidance or just someone that seems as though they know scripture or that they have a great relationship with God or whatever the case may be, they'll follow you. And so she's doing that with her subscribers. They've seen her
Mm-hmm.
show out and act a fool. Whatever she tells them to do, they do it. Period. It doesn't matter. And it's the same thing with Ernesto. She knows that most people, when they go to jail, what are they looking for? Spiritual guidance. Because they
Mm-hmm.
feel like the closer I get to God, I'm going to get out of here like nothing happened. And we know how Ernesto, you know how he thinks. He believes that if I could just get the right people in my corner, if I could prove this, if I could prove that, I can get out of here. So for him connecting with IS, he feels like, okay, well, she's going to get me out of here. And then she could play her phony church role. And in turn, he feels like he's looking up to her and she feels important. That's what I get
We
from her. She has a need to feel important
True.
and to be liked. A grown woman, she needs people to be proud of her. She needs people to look up to her. And she needs to feel important and involved.
right now, I mean, I know I make fun of her green card husband, but nevertheless, she supposedly married him to help him out. But
Mm-hmm.
so you married him to help him. You have a whole husband. Some of y'all are single. I'm single. You have a whole husband. You're on the YouTube asking people for money to pay for your internet. Not, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you have a whole husband that you brought over to this country for a better life, and he can't pay your internet. That's all I'm saying.
Well, Legacy, you said you wasn't going to judge her spiritually. Well, I am. I'm going to judge her. But I mean, my dad's a minister. My mom's a minister. I grew up in the church. Every Wednesday, I was at service. Every Saturday, I was in youth service. Every Sunday, I was in church from at least 7 o'clock to 3 o'clock. My life was church. I grew up as a modest young lady. There were a lot of things that I did not do. I am an adult now. I still have some of those beliefs. A lot of them I've deconstructed. But what I can tell you, you've seen enough snakes in the grass when you grow up in the church. You know what it looks like. You know what it sounds like. You know it doesn't feel right. You can't put your like finger on it, but it just don't feel right. And but the same person says, well, maybe if I go and I say certain things, maybe this person will come around, and you
Mm-hmm.
try to be like the once again a savior, and you realize this person is beyond your, cognition of help. And what I
Mhm,
see, like paralegalish said, um, that she does want to be liked. She wants to be loved so desperately.
mhm,
You
mhm,
see the desire for love. When you get on a chat, and you're talking to people, you're supposed to be driving. I'm supposed to
Mm-hmm.
be driving to work. That's my time as a believer or some type of faith person. You're trying to connect to God before you go to work and deal with the demons that it's your job, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And you're trying to connect. And I'm like, no, I'm connecting to these people that I don't really know. They don't know you.
Mm-hmm.
They don't,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just, pieces of words on a screen, and this is your connection. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she just wants a friend. She wants
Mm-hmm.
love. And you feel so sad for this person and you want the best for them. I do. I want the best for her.
Yeah.
I want her to be able to have a conversation with someone who does not agree with her, and you don't feel like I'm arguing with you. But you feel
Mm-hmm.
that way because you don't feel loved. And if I disagree with you, then that's
Mm-hmm.
saying that you're not lovable. And I feel so sorry. And I wish her the best in life. I want her to heal from this trauma bonding that she has. And I
Mm-hmm.
also want her to pray for herself,
Mm-hmm.
not this fake praying. Pray for yourself seriously. And while you're praying for that, okay, I did have a problem with her praying for Nesto. My dad used to be a part of the prison ministry. My dad never went to prison, but my dad was a special ed teacher in high school, and a lot of his male students, that window where they say they go straight from, school to prison, the pipeline. My dad saw that all the time. So he would go a part of the prison ministry, and he said that there are rules that you follow. No woman goes inside of the male, section of the prison. Number one, it's not safe. Number two, emotional attachment. Number three, you wanted to speak to the man where he is. A woman can't do that. Not that
Mm-hmm.
she can't pray for him at home, not that she can't pray and manifest that God will be with him, but a male is supposed to do that. A male is supposed to correct the male, like a female,
Mm-hmm.
it's just the way it's supposed to go. And I discussed it with him, and he's like, I just don't see how that's in order, you know, because there's just so much that could occur there emotionally with a woman and a male. He doesn't have anyone else to talk to. How do you know that, he's not forming an emotional bond to you? So it's
Mm-hmm.
just, you want to protect yourself. And as a Christian, you would think, as a believer, you would want to protect yourself when you're going into a jail system. I'm not saying God
Mm-hmm.
didn't tell him. I'm wondering what God told you. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hello, Eve has many faces, and hello, sound check Annette. Um, here's my thing about and her past. To me, I would really love to hear about her childhood. It sounds very interesting because she has said that her father. This is how I learned that she was of Haitian descent because she
Mm,
said that her father used to, I guess, be in the regime of Papa Doc. And if y'all don't know who that is, Google him over there in Haiti. But
mm-hmm.
you can't tell me that you're this strong, steadfast Christian, but you call your mom and put her on the YouTube for her to threaten the people who are making fun of you with voodoo. What kind of Christianity is that? It's
Mm-hmm.
none to me. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to question her spiritual walk, but she absolutely did do that. I heard it. She did that. And if you are a Christian, why would you be doing that? But her childhood, it sounds like very interesting. And I would also like to know, I mean, I don't know if she was born over here or over there or what, but it just sounds very colorful. And I wish she'd talk about that because that might make me have a little bit more compassion for her. Because to be honest, I do. I do have a little bit of compassion for her because something's not right. But I'd have a little more if she spoke about her childhood and growing up. That would give me a little bit more insight. Since she wants to tell everything anyway, she wants internet paid and lawyer fees and stuff. So why not talk about your childhood? That might make people stand down a bit. Tiptoe through the tulips. She is really making some really good points. I don't know if I
Mm,
said hi to Eve has many faces, but if not, hello. The mind's going Sunshine City. How are you doing? But I just would like to hear more about that, about growing up and what you saw. What type of spiritual background do you have as a child? Now, me, I was in church, and I can say I am not, though I am not a part of the Christian church now. I
Mhm.
still, I, I don't know if I want to say I hold dear those beliefs, but I know them, and I will not disrespect people who have those beliefs and what those beliefs are. I would never disrespect that. I'm
No,
done.
I agree with you. Yeah, I would never disrespect it, but I question it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with questioning someone's actions when you're using the word God said, because that's a level of power and control that people try to use. And the only way that you can combat that and stand your ground is to say, based on what? On what power are you saying this? And I have a problem with that. I have a problem with you saying that God told you, so I can't question you.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have a
Mhm.
whole problem.
Question, because my question is, what exactly did he say? Did he say put your visits on YouTube so you can make money? I just want to know a little bit more about that. But something else that kind of, these are the things that rub me the wrong way. Now you have that channel over there. You tell your people in your chat they can't cuss, but you go over to your other channel that day and practically cuss me out along with everybody else and letting the people cuss in the chat. Either you can't cuss, period, or you can. You can't just, how do you just take and throw your beliefs out the window on a different channel? That's what I don't get. And that's the kind of stuff that makes me question everything she does.
Mhm. I think she's just battling. It's just a battle within herself. Like I said, I think she desperately wants, or like Sanders said, she desperately wants to be loved, and I think she just wants to be wanted as well. And so on one channel, I'm a Christian, and on the other channel, I have another side of me that she feels is fun because she's cussing and whatever else. She doesn't know how to be her and just accept the fact that everybody's not going to like you, and that's okay. You're an adult. I'm not here to please anybody. If you like me, you do. If you don't, that's okay. Right? It's
It
okay.
is,
And
but
it's
It's,
just
I
like
think. Mhm,
she can't deal with people not liking her, and
mhm,
she won't check her personality either. Like, for instance, when she decided that she wasn't going to talk about Nesto no more, and everybody was like, oh, you a hypocrite, blah, blah, blah. If that had been me, it is what it is. I don't care what y'all say about me. I said I wasn't going to talk about it anymore. That's the end of it. Like, nobody's going to bully me into doing something I don't want to do. But it's just like she was bullied, I guess, or in her words, so much to where she had to figure out a way to one up everybody. So now I am going to hook up with Sonya so she can get me access to Nesto. And then I'm going to play this Christian persona so then I can come back and show y'all what I did so y'all will be proud of me. See, I have access to him. The other bloggers don't. They got to rely on just getting documents or speculation, or they got to wait on, PCFP to drop information. And then when she goes on her other channel, here's a whole nother personality. See, y'all, I could be fun. I'm not just a boring Christian lady. I cuss and I can flash y'all and all of this other stuff. She doesn't know who she wants to be. She just wants acceptance. That's all she knows. She just wants people to like her. And
well,
people like that are dangerous, in my opinion.
Well, okay, here's the thing. In a sense, don't all of us, we all want to be liked and accepted by everyone. I mean, I know I do, but guess what? I know that there's some people who don't like and accept me, or some people who have a problem with something that I may say, and that's okay too. I mean,
Hmm.
somebody said something to me, for example, in the comments the other day about a video I made. And, I responded back and I told, thank you for watching. Thank you for your comment. But I'm still standing in what I said. I meant what I said. I said what I said. So and I believe that person unsubscribed, but that's okay too. Everybody,
Hmm.
going to be everybody's cup of tea, and I understand that, and that's
Right.
fine. Just like everybody's not my cup of tea, but how lonely. And now, say for example, when you want to talk about childhood, I was not an only child, but my siblings were 9 and 10 years older than me. So essentially, I did not grow up with my siblings. So you could say an only child, and then my nephew came along, but and I was a latchkey kid. I was all these things, but in my life today, and I've had some traumas happen as well. I'm still stable. There's just some people who I look at her being one of them, and I question the stability. Is she stable? So we all want to be accepted. We all want people to think good thoughts about us, but they're just not going to. They're just not.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's harder for some people than others to accept
Mm-hmm.
that. I know for
Mm-hmm.
me it was, but I understand my root issue is perfectionism.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be. I want to be perfect. I want to get everything right. And in that there's people pleasing, and I have to deal with
Mm-hmm.
saying I don't care, but I know it's there. When I go to work and I make mistakes, you know how hard it is to make a mistake as a nurse. I'm bad.
Yes.
I'm a bad nurse. No one died. No one's ill. No one leg cut off. Nothing that serious. It's just
Mm-hmm.
maybe instead of getting alcohol wipe, I got another wipe, and oh, I realized that. Dang, I wish I could have been perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for some people they struggle with that idea of not being perfect,
Mm-hmm.
and in the issue with that, you have to accept it. You have to work through it. You have to go to therapy. I did suggest that to her. I said, it sounds like you need therapy. You
Mm-hmm.
know, well, I never
Mm-hmm.
said I didn't have therapy. Look at you people, and I'm like, ma'am, you're not in
I
therapy.
remember that. I remember
And
that.
Yeah.
yes, you're not in therapy, ma'am. You're not in therapy. You're not under a therapist. You've probably never seen a therapist because that
Mm-mm.
comment alone showed it. You don't love me. You don't accept me. So something is wrong. And it's kind of,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it's like, ma'am, I want the best for you. I want
Right.
the best for you. And you see someone hurting, you want, especially me, I want to give you the medicine or the guidance
Mm-hmm.
to help you. And the
Right.
help is to say, get help. you know,
let,
help is not YouTube.
let me tell you
Right.
something. You can have sympathy and empathy for people. Like for example, I have um, empathy for Nesto's victims. I don't like what he did as a human being. I don't like him. But now I'm gonna tell you something, and I'm not gonna lie. When I saw him, hop or skip or whatever you want to call it into that courtroom the other day, and how bad he looked, a piece of me felt bad for him. I felt the empathy for him, even though he's where he belonged. I still felt that, but I'm not going to jump on a bandwagon and start supporting that man and
Mm-hmm.
hold vigils and things for him. I'm not going to do that. But a piece of me felt sorry for him when I saw him, and I think that that's the human
hmm
empathy in me to feel that way.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I mean, but that is empathy. It's the fact that I can honestly say, if I lived in Atlanta, I would want to be a part of the jury. I think that even though I followed this case, I can say I may not like the man, but I wouldn't be prejudicial to
Mm-hmm.
him in this case because I'm going to hear the facts. I'm going to weigh them out. I'm not like the things he's done to the people around him. Do I think he's guilty? I may be one person on YouTube that can say I don't know. I just
Mm-hmm.
don't like what I've heard. I don't
Mm-hmm.
like what I've seen him say. Do I know he's committed these crimes? I do not know. But
Mm-hmm.
I can say that there is evidence that's there, but I would still
Mm-hmm.
look at it and weigh it out. And I think that's just the way I am, even with Sonia. I may not like her, but do I
Mm-hmm.
know that she's guilty of something? No. What I don't like is what I've heard. Do I know her? I have no clue who she is. I have no
Right.
clue who he is. But I've made a judgment based on what I've heard. That's it.
I feel the same way, and that's what I could say about her. She I can say a lot of things about her, but I look at her and the things that she says and the decisions that she has made that I do know about. I can go back and relate. I mean, she was abandoned by her mother,
Mhm.
and her father was, as far as I'm concerned, he was a good man in the community, but he was a womanizer. And at the same time, her mother did leave her and leave her children behind, but we don't know what was going on between the mother and the father and what kind of threats he may have made toward the mother. So bad that she ran away and went out the country and left her children. We don't know that. We do know that we've heard Sonia discuss how, they used to argue all the time and the children did used to be in the middle. I can empathize with that. And those are the things that make me have compassion for her. But I just don't, she's not my cup of tea. That's what I'll say about her. And some of the things that she says is how I've come to that conclusion. Like, say for example, I know we say things about her that we shouldn't, but she makes you just want to grasp at something because of the things that come out her mouth. But I feel sorry for her as a person too, a little bit, maybe a half an inch. I feel a little
Mhm.
bit sorry for her.
I
Yeah.
felt so sorry for her that I tried to go back and research. Um, they were a part of what Farrakhan's Nation of Islam, not Nation of
Mhm.
Islam. Is it the Nation of Islam? Am I
Yes.
saying it
Mhm.
correctly? Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to know how girls were raised. I also wanted to know like the separation for the male and the wife, the male and the wife, the husband and the wife,
Mhm.
and I think in the Nation of Islam, the husband gains control of the kids, so the
Mhm.
wife didn't really have a basis to fight underneath that religion
Mhm.
of the belief system, and then the girls are trained on how to be wives from a young
Mhm.
age. So
Mhm.
I was just trying to understand. For me, I try to not cast judgment, but have some sense of judgment based on some relevance of understanding. And what I understood was, well, maybe her mom felt like she had to leave. Maybe her mom no longer wanted to hold on to the beliefs of the Nation of
Mhm.
Islam. Maybe her mom felt it very repressive. So she didn't just leave and stay in America. She went to a whole nother country. That's a huge
Mhm.
jump. And to think
Mhm.
that takes someone that's a risk taker and they really wanted to get out.
Yeah.
And so you feel sorry for the kids that she left behind because she left behind girls and a boy. And she left behind and she didn't really necessarily care. I'm thinking that's how they feel about me. So imagine you would be kind of crass, I would think, being raised by a father, especially a father that's in construction. Okay.
Mhm.
You may not necessarily be soft as another woman raised by a woman. So I feel some sympathy, but at the same time, it's kind of like, well, I can grow and learn if I choose to, if I want to. I don't
Mhm.
have to stay here. But you see that there's this desire to be a softer woman. So I want you to compare me to your wife. I want you to see me as the other women that you've been around. Because I know for myself, I'm not like any other woman you've been with. So I
Mhm.
just think it's very interesting how she may want to be different. And then
Mhm.
sometimes she wants to stand out. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't have been bothered if you'd have did that to me. Like
Mhm.
I want you to see me as a part of you, an exception, an extension of you.
Mhm.
So, mm,
I'm
I.
gonna tell this story. I
okay.
hope the person doesn't. Well, I'm not gonna say her name, but um, Sylvia had a panel on one of the times that she interviewed Sonia, and she allowed you to come up to this panel, and I think you had to pay $5. And the person who went up to the panel was talking to Sonia in a very compassionate way, and they were trying to explain to her, how you look now is different between how you looked in the beginning. You don't look really healthy. And
Oh,
Sonya just
Vicky.
immediately got off and started. She pretended like she got a call, and Sylvia just kind of didn't do anything either. So here that person paid, and they really wanted to show compassion towards Sonya, but Sonya didn't like how she started out. So she just immediately ignored her, got on her phone, and that was that. And do you think Sylvia gave that person a refund? No. But I just feel like I don't even think she doesn't. Just like Sonya can't, Nesto gives her those compliments, but it's like she can't accept them, so she kind of talks over them. Just like that person was trying to show some empathy toward her that day, and it was like she couldn't accept it. She just completely shut her out and shut down and moved on, and that was very very telling to me. I don't know. I don't know if anybody else saw that
No,
time.
I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. It was more so, you're trying to address me as a human being and as a person, but you don't know me. Um, but to a certain extent, I mean, I'm sure just by this conversation alone, someone can tell a couple of things about me. Just because you hear someone's voice, you hear someone's point of view, you hear their perception, it gives you a framework to build a picture on. It may not necessarily be true, but that's what we do. We judge people based on the facts that we have, whether it's 100% true or not. That's just the way we are as humans. um, yeah, and that whole thing too about we can't judge people, I felt was very crazy over there.
What do you mean you can't judge people? You can't. What? That's like, isn't that a natural human response? I think. I thought it
Yes,
was.
it is. It is. But that's what we were told. You can't judge. You can't judge people. Where does it say that in the Bible that you can judge people? Oh, there's a whole book called Judges. So I'm just like, like what? Oh, are we serious? We're going to turn off all common sense. We're going to turn off all knowledge and understanding, and we're going to say what? No, no, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Oh wow. And I don't even want to, here we are, we were supposed to be talking about Nesto's plea deal and Puffy, and we've got on this lady trying to understand her. But that's the thing, you just want understanding. You want to understand her and understand why she's over there talking about a deal that see how legally I don't see legally how what she's saying happened. Like I said, in order to reject a deal, it had to have been a whole hearing. And
Mhm.
I don't, you can't make me believe that, say, for example, today, let's say there was a hearing. You can't make me believe that Dennis didn't have the scoop on it. Are you serious? Nah.
Well, and the thing too with that is that the lawyers would have to work that out. So her lawyer and DA Wooten would hash that out, not the judge. The judge comes in after the fact. So let's say if DA Wooten said, you know what, I can't find the victims, or I want to modify the plea deal or whatever, or even if her lawyer says, you know what, we decided we don't want to take it, they can go back and forth and then they can file a motion for a hearing and then they would present the information in front of the judge, and then the judge would make, a decision. The judge doesn't just come out of nowhere and says, "Nope, you're not getting this deal." That's not what he's there for. His job is basically like a moderator. So when you get to sentencing, and like I said, or if before the sentencing, if they decide that they changed their mind, then, like I said, they will have a hearing, and if not, they get to sentencing, and then the judge decides, well, nope, I don't feel like you deserve to only get 5 years suspended. I want you to serve some time, so I'm rejecting the offer and I'm going to send you to prison or whatever the case may be. That's what he does. He's not going to just look in the file and then wake up one day and then just say, nope. you not getting this. That's not, I don't know where she got that from. And like I said, when somebody challenged her, she started getting all defensive, talking about, oh, well, were you there? Were you there? How do you know? I'm not going to argue with anybody. There's nothing to argue.
Now, a pimp named Nasty Nesto, let me tell you, it was reported in Baller Alert on the 31st of May that his attorney, Sean Hoover, submitted a plea deal on April the 26th. I have not heard of there being a hearing. As we know, when he went in the other day for his hearing, he said he didn't even want his charges. He waived that as well.
Mhm.
And I honestly think that Sylvia's getting confused about what that meant, though she
Mhm.
wasn't in there. But I don't know anything about the discovery other than it's done. So, what can you tell me what you know or what you heard about the discovery? Because I don't know.
Me?
No, a
A
pimp
pimp
named
named Nesto? Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah. Because I haven't heard anything about the discovery other than that the discovery has been submitted. So,
I
um,
don't know. I think Fran went over the discovery. And she just basic because they just give you like basic information. So I think she went over it. And so the defense will just go through it, and then what they can do is they can file a motion for a hearing, and they'll meet again before the trial is supposed to start, and that's when they can ask, can we suppress this, meaning they want to get rid of it, you know, so on and so forth, and then the defense can ask for a continuance, or they're ready to present along with the prosecution, and then they'll go to trial. So I don't know. It's something else I was getting ready to say about that. Wait a minute. When I said about Erica's plea deal, oh, I lost my train of thought. It'll come back.
now I know I'm looking because I'm a member on Real Talk Bougie. I don't recall her talking about the discovery.
I think it was the
I mean,
next
she.
day after she talked about. I'm sorry. It was a. Go
No, you
ahead.
good.
I can't remember the
Go
exact
ahead. No, you're
date.
fine. Well, I don't remember the exact date either. I just know that she did just pull up the discovery and just talked about what was in the discovery, not
Mhm.
necessarily all of the files, like going through, because we'll never know that since, we would have it all over YouTube.
Okay,
Mhm.
Um,
I do now that
but
I remember that.
hmm but I didn't know that Nesto's attorney offered a plea deal today. That I didn't know.
No, now that was his attorney entered that on the 26th of April. So
Right.
that's been
Mm.
in. That has
And
been in.
Oh,
and
And
I
okay.
what
just want
Okay.
to I just want to say really quick that Baller Alert got it from the New York Post because I know someone
Mm.
questioned if Baller
It
Alert
was
was a
reputable.
credible source.
Hmm.
Baller Alert cited it from the New York Post. So if you go back to that original article, it is in there that Sean Hoover, if that's his name, filed it on the 26th, and it was supposed to be addressed at that hearing, but we don't know why it wasn't. So I don't know if somebody changed their mind or if the judge just overlooked it or whatever happened, but it was filed.
now
So,
this plea, I'm gonna assume I don't know because we have to remember he still has not gone to his other hearing on the essay and
Hmm.
all of those things. So we're actually talking about what he was in court on the other day.
mhm,
I see the thing about Real Talk Bougie is she's on it. She is
mhm,
on it.
Hmm.
She gets,
mhm,
as soon as she gets that stuff, she is telling us what's going on. And I find it interesting that Sylvia, I mean, I'm wondering, is she really a part of Odyssey or does she just, go down there and request the records in person? Because she does not seem to know anything. She didn't, as far as I know, she hasn't even talked about the items that the prosecution has. that is
Mm-hmm.
going to be a part of the case. I've not heard her talk about any. I have not talked
No.
anything that has been pertinent. I have not heard her mention, but her boots are on the ground. But yet
Mm-hmm.
she's on there today telling us information that I just don't believe happened. I just don't. And she wasn't even, she was, like I said, if she's talking about the hearing the other day, I know for a fact she was not in there because I
Mm-hmm.
was watching her as the hearing was going on. So I know for a fact she wasn't in there and she was going to get security. But so other than I will never let that go. Security, I will never let that go. But anyway,
So she gets her information from the courthouse and makes copies of it. She doesn't do anything electronically
Mm.
at home.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think she does. Oh my gosh, my sister's phone. I don't think she does anything electronically. I just think,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why she's never, because a lot of the stuff, oh my God, I got to turn this phone down. I'm
So
sorry.
Black Auntie, I'm wondering if DA Wooten provided the discovery to Sean, or at least what he had available
Mm.
to him, and then he looked for through it and then said, "Let's see if we can get a plea deal."
Paralegalish, do you think that a plea could be, well, just focused on the RICO and, the RICO charges, and let's drop the SA and CP charges by any chance?
No,
No? Okay.
it's gonna be two separate cases for the
Mm,
essay. Yeah, so
mm,
shoot, he needs to let his pride go, at least for those financial charges. If they're gonna offer you a plea, just take it. I would take it and then just let my lawyer fight really hard, as hard as he could on the essay and the CP.
yeah.
That's what I would
Okay.
do personally
Right.
because I feel like those are the most damning. And that's just me. Everybody's not going to agree, but I just feel like just take the plea. Just take the
Yeah.
plea.
If they offer the plea, I
If
mean,
they offer
do
the
you?
plea,
Yeah. I know that.
So
I mean,
adamant he would never do that.
huh? Would you say?
He was so adamant that he would not take a plea.
mm,
Because with his personality, he just feels like he has something to prove. But the thing is that you got somebody that you've worked with for however many years that's gonna get up on this stand and tell all your business, all of it. Now, if you take a plea and the judge will seal those court documents, nobody can ever see anything. So to me, I would ask the lawyer, see if you can ask the DA to get me a deal, and then his lawyer can ask the judge to seal those court documents, those transcripts, so they won't be available to the public. And then we're
mm,
done with that. Let's move on to this
mm,
other charge, this other
mm,
case. Because right now he's just wasting money, time, and resources, and is just getting frustrated and really fighting himself because you got somebody that's ready to talk. And this person, like I said, has worked closely with you for years, that knows everything,
mm,
every detail. And she
She's
must
very
have something
clear.
of value if they're going to cut her the deal that they are in exchange for testimony.
mm,
She has made it very clear she was the employee. So
Mm-hmm.
And that
Mm-hmm.
might have been. I do believe she had like as far as the paperwork and stuff. I think she had a leg up on that. But hey, I can believe the way that it looks like. See, this is what his MO is. He takes women and he puts them forward as the front, while he's really the one calling the shots. So I can buy that she was just an employee. I can buy it. We even know that. Let me see. We've got what Miss Jones. We've got Erica. Who else do we have? And I think if he was still free, we'd have Sonia. He would probably be using her as the front woman and
I
not.
don't
Go
I
ahead.
don't think Erica was the employee. I think that she told Pam that. This is what I think. I think that Erica has been on YouTube and has been watching everything. I think she knew who Pam was, and that's why she was so willing to talk about it because she knew that there was a chance that it will be brought back to YouTube. And I think she said that to paint her in a good light. I don't believe anything that Erica said.
I didn't say
I
I
think
believe.
Hmm.
she.
I said I could buy it.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm not trying to argue. I'm sorry. I thought that's what you said. No, I don't believe her. I think that it was just like, okay, well, let me get the spotlight off of me. He did this, y'all, not me. She's that
I
type
like
of
the way you
person.
think.
Oh,
'Cause
thank you.
I, I never thought about it from that standpoint. Like
Hmm.
when you try to be a good person, it's kind of
Hmm.
hard for you to think as deviant as some of these people are at times. But to
Hmm.
think, I've been watching YouTube, I knew who she was. I'm gonna talk to her only because, and not only was she talking to Pam, Joby was there from RTV as well, and he was asking her questions. And I was
Hmm.
like, and you felt comfortable responding to two people you've never seen before?
Hmm.
Well,
Okay.
Black Auntie, you want to come up and say anything? Oh, and you know what I also found is interesting for those
Hmm.
of you, if you do follow Real Talk Bougie, well, know you know that there's a guy that is part of Bougie Gang, very mysterious guy. He was kind of the one there feeding some of the questions to Pam to ask
Mhm.
Erica, but Erica has said that she heard some of the calls and all of it was traumatizing. So
Hmm.
he hasn't been really following. I really don't believe it because it
Hmm.
nothing else is addictive. But also, wasn't she told? I thought she couldn't be on the internet either. Because I
She's not supposed to
know
be.
why Nesto can't, but I also thought that people who are charged with financial crimes can't be on any social media either. I could be wrong.
She wasn't
I don't know
supposed to,
about the
but that
financial
doesn't.
crimes. Yeah.
Right. She
I'm
wasn't
sorry.
supposed to, but that doesn't mean somebody else couldn't play it for her.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. We have another joining us. We have Vic to the Veil.
And
Hi.
also, oh, I'm sorry. Hey, Vicky.
Hi, go ahead. Keep going.
Okay. No,
Hey,
I was
Vicky.
just gonna say somebody said that the spotlight wasn't ever really on Erica. Actually, it was in the beginning, but people forgot about her for two reasons. One, we didn't have enough information about her. Okay.
Hmm.
And then for two, we learned about Sonya. So everything became about her. Who is she? Where is she at? Who's she talking to? All of that. And so we kind of forgot about Erica because we didn't have the documents that we had related to, Nesto and all of that. But now she knows, okay, well, I've had my plea hearing, I've had this, I've had that. She knows people are going to start talking now, especially given the fact that she's going to testify against Ernesto. She knows what she's doing.
We
She knows.
also we have Black Auntie up here too, but
Black
Vic to the Veil,
Auntie.
what's
Hey,
up?
Black Auntie.
Hey, Bank. Hey, hi, everybody.
Hey.
I was gonna just come up here and concur. I don't believe the bit of anything Erica was saying. I think she is someone who she's very calculated, very smart.
Mhm.
You have to be very coordinated and organized to keep to run the kind of the paperwork that she was running. Um,
Mhm.
I think she allowed Ernest to be the front of things.
Mhm.
Um, she may have wanted some attention, but not the kind of attention that he wanted. So it was easier for her to just to say, "Okay, that's my boss." I do believe she's been online. I do believe she's been watching the internet. Someone like her is not going to be able to stay offline yet. She may be ill, but
Mhm.
she's in the know of what's going on. You know, she knows that this is popular. She knows that he's cooked, and she knows that she can just flip this on him. She knows he's been basically telling his story in a way that is totally um, very uncalculated, like she has, and he
Mhm.
hasn't been incriminating her. So
Mhm.
she can flip the narrative in any way that she wants to because he's refrained from saying anything. The only thing we've heard him say is, "Yeah, she set me up."
Mhm.
That's it. That's it,
Mhm.
and that's all. He's not or he said they my co-defendant they let the B go. That's about it.
Mhm.
He's not, but he's silly because he's been allowing her to be out here and spin the narrative. I said I still get a giggle when I think about it. I'm like he lawyered up as soon as he got arrested, and then his fake lawyer flipped on him. It's just
And
the
you know
funniest.
what? That's why I think that his lawyer put in that gag order because I think you know who watched Pam's live and went back and reported it to him, and he became furious about that and probably scared and paranoid that she's gonna talk too much, okay? And then told his lawyer like, "Look, you got to do something. She talking too much. What is she gonna say?"
Hmm.
Okay, I
Basically,
want
word for word.
I want to let Black Auntie talk in a second, but I
Yeah.
also want to say that I have a very dear friend of mine in the chat. Her name is Nay Love, and I want paralegal is to answer this question, and then we're going to get right into Black Auntie. She wants to know that if somebody signs an NDA and still talks, what happens?
So sometimes you can break an NDA. It just depends, but the person that you sign the NDA with can sue you. It
So,
just
like
depends.
everybody can sign, say, like with Puffy, if they sign an NDA, they can kind of turn around and talk, but then they risk Puffy suing them.
But I believe that most of them expire as well, and I think it's stipulations with that. So, like, if it's related to a crime, then you can talk. So
Oh,
like, you know what I'm saying? So like if you say like if somebody got with somebody and they decided that they were gonna hook up and just have, the S word or whatever. And let's just say that you signed an NDA, but you felt that it was forceful and you believed that it was great. You can go to the police and break that NDA. It's a crime. But if you just loose lips and it was a night of passion, you had a wonderful time and you can't conceal it and you go tell somebody like, girl, I was with him last night, blah, 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 then they can sue you.
oh, okay. Hey, Night Skin. All right, Black Auntie.
Well, what I was going to say is that Para was basically saying my video word for word. And another key thing that I said in that video was that, at least I feel is key, is that Erica is in PR. Even though she was a con woman, part of her con was to be, was in PR. So she knows how to turn it on for the camera. She knows how to interview. And like I said, we live in a sound bite society that has been put on steroids with social media. The news cycle with social media is about 24 hours. So she also knows that people remember things they only want sound bites and they only retain with the last thing they heard, so she can spin this tale and make herself look any which way she wants. And I even speculated, is this an attempt to silence Erica? And, Pam kind of talked about it. Other people said, just kind of standard operating procedures. But I can't help but to think to Nesto's thinking and to Sonia's thinking that I'm pretty sure they did say something to his attorney about that. And the other thing is that I forget who said it in the chat, but they just said, Sylvia's just propaganda. And again, that is true. And it could work, except it's just Sylvia, and she's not very credible or she's not very firm or strong in the way she delivers. And see, that's where Sonya fell short because she thinks she knows everything. She should have had an army of people willing to start vlogging or willing to start putting out information, start flooding the zone. And it's too late now, so I don't think I'm telling her anything. She's not going to do it anyway. And nobody wants to touch him at this point. He's like a pariah. But I just find it interesting that Sylvia doesn't care. I mean, all of us, like you said, Legacy Moon, everybody knew where she was down there singing, was it Kumbaya or whatever, to Dennis when, Pam was up in the courtroom getting the real tea. But I guess her audience doesn't pay attention because she's got them so isolated that they don't even go outside their bubble. So it serves a couple of purposes. One, it kind of reinforces that she has a team, and two, I mean that people quote unquote support her, and two, she actually does think she's doing some, she's helping Nesta by muddying the waters, but she really isn't. And that the legacy one, have you touched on this? Because it was I know it was brought up. I don't know who brought it up, so I'm not trying to take credit for it. But people were talking about the definition of infamous and how she's so proud of that name, infamous.
I have
Infamous is not a good connotation.
right. I've mentioned it in videos before, and I know Phone Jones has mentioned it before too. But yeah, go ahead. What are your thoughts on that? Because her new channel has the name Infamous in it. So this is something she likes to cling to. What do you think about that, Black Auntie?
It just exposes her ignorance. She's not a very bright person, and I'm not saying that to be funny or to be to take shots at her. But I've come to realize, being out here on these YouTube streets in various different sectors, there is no aptitude to entry into YouTube. And I say there are some adults out here that still needs IEPs. Again, no shade. Just because you can click on YouTube or you can start a channel don't mean you should, and it doesn't mean that you have any kind of that if you have some kind of intellectual delays or any kind of blind spots, YouTube is not going to stop you, and not going to stop you from coming up here putting your content up. They just don't see it. They're not capable of seeing it. So for her, she just falls into victimhood, and she's got her supporters. And another thing here on YouTube, that's why I don't understand why she even started all this little beef with the other content creators. There is some, I would say, that even relationships, there's somebody for everybody. You will find your audience. You'll find people who will gravitate to you. You don't have to beg anybody to come to your channel. You don't. They will either like what you have to say and like how you say it, and that's that. But you don't have to. She comes off desperate to me, and I was thinking, I'm kind of rambling here, but I was thinking, like, when did I actually fall off from her? Because a lot of people, well, she likes to claim that other content creators bullied other people into not coming to her channel. But for me specifically, it was when she was playing with, and I wasn't even a member. I just was subscribed, and I unsubscribed that night. When she was playing with the people who actually subbed to her channel and were members in her chat about the Sonya interview, she kept going back and forth like, oh, am I going to put it out there, or am I going to put it in members? I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to put it in members. And I'm like, that's manipulative. That's not right. And I don't like people who play like that. And I unsubscribed at that point. It had nothing to do with all the other stuff. It's just that I don't like, I am now considered a content creator, and I would hopefully never take my audience for granted or assume that they owe me their click and view.
Black, I'm
I
sorry.
agree.
I'm still stuck on. I'm still back with the IEP. I heard everything you said.
Oh, I'm not saying that.
Real.
I love you, Black Auntie. I'm like, I want to be like Black Auntie when I grow up.
Me too.
Yes.
I can listen to you talk all day,
I
all
love
day.
talking to Bank.
Me, don't get me started with you, Miss. Because I say you should go ahead and do what is it, the stereo thing?
Uh, uh, speaker
Yeah,
head or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. I just I'm insecure, and I know I'm sensitive, so I know that I'm not confident enough yet to like take the criticism. Like when people say something, I'm I'm at Sylvia's level right now, so I
What do you
can't.
mean? Wait, what's going on? I'm so lost.
I
She's
always try to get her to start a channel or to start voicing her opinions, because that's a very good viewpoint, and I love it. And
Yeah.
you don't come across to me as being weak or not able to. You seem like you're able to stand up for yourself. I hear how
Yeah.
you I think you can stand in your righteousness very well.
I
I
Hey,
can, but
listen,
I
you can
can
do
tell
it.
that
You
that
can't.
that Vicky is. I can tell she's sensitive, but I want to tell you, I really, I admire her. Like, if she leaves me a comment and she says, "Hey, you need to do such and such," or maybe you could do such and such, I do it because I
Hmm.
respect what she has to say, and I listen to what. There's some other people who may come in my comments, and I'm like, okay, well, thank you, but I don't do it. But if she says something to me, and she probably knows she was one of the first people who said, that music, it just makes it so hard to hear and focus. So what did I do? I stopped. And then other people would say, oh, thank you for taking out the music. But I really think, even when she's on, if I'm in other chats and she's talking, I really pay
Mhm.
attention to what she's saying, because she has something to say, and I know whatever she's saying is coming from her heart. And so I respect her for that.
I appreciate that, and I don't want to create an echo chamber, and I hate echo chambers, and I love like going on, I like when people can agree to disagree, and I just
Mhm.
noticed that sometimes like in these YouTube streets, and I haven't really been active. This is the first kind of content I've really been active on, besides maybe like Daryl Brooks. I don't know if y'all remember that
Mm,
case.
yep.
Mhm.
Um, but some people just it's an echo chamber, and I'm like, oh gosh, I don't have to agree with you, and
Correct.
and
Minute. Wait a minute. Somebody is calling you out, Vicky. They said that, hold up, Miss Vicky, I've heard you talk on a lot of channels voicing your opinions,
Mhm.
and they're laughing.
yeah, I go on different channels, and it's not, I try to be respectful, and sometimes people may I've noticed that I get like maybe from the content creator, they may be like, because they don't agree with my opinion. So it can make me feel like a little, make me feel a little insecure, because I am kind of like I know I'm different. We all know we're different. I'm eccentric, and so
Mhm.
I'm learning this. So I'm learning by going on different channels to kind of to get a feel for things and to get more
Mhm.
confident in it. So I appreciate you guys like pushing forward. And I'm proud of you, Bank, for actually getting up there and doing it, because this StreamYard thing is hard. I played
It
around with it
is.
so many times. I'm like, ooh, I'm not publishing this.
Hey,
Yeah.
what,
Vicky, I
what,
think you should start your channel. I started off with the Zero Brooks content. It's funny that you mentioned that. And I was very afraid to do so because there were a lot of other channels that was covering that case, and I just didn't know where I was gonna fit in with it. And let me tell you, I got a lot of hate from it because a lot of people didn't like my perspective. I had people cussing me out. I had people leaving all kind of hate comments and basically just saying that I need to shut up. I think I'm a lawyer. Stop playing lawyer. I don't know what I'm talking about. All this and that. And I'm not gonna lie, it did hurt my feelings originally, but then I had to remember why I started my channel. And the main reason was for me to work through anxiety because sometimes I have a fear of talking to people that I don't know, and sometimes I can't get my words out correctly. Another reason was because I wanted to work on my communication skills. And I love true crime. And it was just like, I'm not going to let people that I don't know that I probably will never meet in my life take
Mhm.
that from me. I know why I got on here. And like I said, whoever doesn't like it, they just don't like it. You know what I mean? Ultimately, when I'm done editing my videos or going live, I sit and evaluate and think about how I performed at that time and what I can do better for myself and not everybody else. And those that's gonna rock with you, they will. Just be yourself, be confident, choose a topic you like, and just do it. And don't worry about what people are gonna say. People are gonna critique you either way. You can make the best content possible and somebody's gonna find something with it. And 9 times out of 10, it's a person that doesn't have the confidence to do it themselves. They're cowardly and they just want to pick on people. So don't let nobody steer you away from what you want to do, girl. And I will subscribe. So let me know when your
me
channel is
too.
up.
I know, and
Definitely.
it's
I was subscribed in the
those are
beginning.
the reasons why you started your channel are the same reasons why I want to start my channel, because I do, from lockdown I've gotten I have more anxiety, like in reintroducing myself back into the world. I know it's been 4 years, but I'm still work from home mostly. So it's like I don't interact with that many people. You guys are the people that I really kind of like interact with a lot more than outside of like my peers over the computer, but that's on a professional level. um so I do want to get out, do it to kind of lower my anxiety, build my confidence level up, because I've always had an issue with public speaking, but I like talking about this topic, and I love getting everybody's difference of opinion, and I love that we're all different age ranges. I love that we've all have different backgrounds, and on someone's good channel, they can agree to disagree, and we can have a good level-headed conversation without going off on each other. Um, and like Bank said a couple minutes ago, I kind of fell off on the other madam when that whole interview with Sonya came about. She kind of just flipped it, and it was like, okay, well, If you flipped it, don't get mad at people because they're questioning you.
Hmm.
You know, and
And,
that was weird to me.
Well, that's
and
my thing. My belief has always been never let them see you sweat. So I take that. What was that from a secret commercial or something?
yeah,
That's my thing. You never. I'm not going to let. I mean, sometimes I do mess up and say, "Hey, I messed up," but like I'm never going to just be upset or cry or you see I learned how to do this StreamYard. I learned how to log on and then everybody else when I did my last live helped me along the way get it together. So I'm okay with that. But I am never going to sit it's like, oh my God, I don't know how to highlight comments. Oh no, how do I add things? I'm not going to do that. I'm never going to let you see that I am upset whether I am or not, you're not going to see that. And while I am talking, uh, the tooth doctor has said that IS said Erica's plea was rejected today by the judge, and she will have to stand trial with Nesto. When was this hearing, and does she have it recorded? Because unless I have proof that this happened, it didn't happen. Go ahead.
bingo, bingo. Hey, um, Legacy Moon, while I'm thinking about it, I put it in the chat. I don't know if you saw it, but head over to Friends and she has a resource list like for the tools she used. I took her recommendation and got a blue mic. It's not cheap, but to me, if you're investing in your channel, it's well worth the investment because that was a problem I was having, Vicky, when I first started. I did not like the way I sounded. I felt like I sounded muffled, and I really don't like to hear my voice anyway. But if I had to hear it, I wanted to be more, crystal clear. And this mic to me, and I'm talking on my phone mic right now, but I actually have a mic I do my videos with, and I absolutely love it. I even bought a stand for it too. So just going to throw that out to you, Legacy Moon, that she does have some recommendations over there if you're interested to check it out.
I wonder why I've never seen that before. Yeah, I've been look
I
for
think
that.
it's I think she has like a link tree, and then it has like I guess the different things she has that like Amazon stores you can do as a content creator.
Huh?
But yeah, that's where I got it from, and to me, I fell in love with it.
Anybody who is interested in starting a channel, I think they should. You could have never told me that I'd start a channel and I'd be sitting up here doing this. Now, I have for the past year been thinking about it, and I do love true crime, and that is what I talk about. But that's actually not really what I wanted to get on here and do. I really wanted to do missing people, and eventually I will. But I really want to put this audience together and then parlay that over into my missing persons when I do decide to do that. But I think anybody who decides that they want to do this or think they want to do it, just do it. And now me, I wasn't, and I said I would probably never go live. And here I am, I'm going live, but I really do enjoy creating and editing my videos. And that's how I started. And that's a good way to start if you're thinking about a channel and you don't know which direction to go in.
And
And
can I
I put
recommend? I
myself,
know we. Sorry, I don't mean to cut whoever off, but I know that we talk about other content creators, but this person is totally outside of this sector. He is a great source of information. Nick Niminen, if you've never heard of him, and he gives some great information, especially just on the technical side of YouTube for anybody who's trying to start a channel. So I know sometimes you got to build. I know I am that type. I feel like I have to have everything in place before I do anything. And if you're
See,
like
that's
me,
me.
yeah, so you should definitely check him out, Vicky, because he gives you some very basic tips. And I've been looking at him when he had maybe like 27,000 subscribers, which is a lot, but in his world it wasn't. Now he's well up there, and he breaks it down into pieces and it makes sense. So you feel more confident creating your content or going live. And for me, I think where I'm stumbling right now, and that's why I like coming up on like your panel and another content creator's panel, Legacy Moon, that I feel like that I can just be me. And that's one of the things he talked about. He said, whatever you start a channel, like you, Vicky, wanting to, just be yourself. Don't worry about anybody else. Just be yourself. Let your personality be what it is.
See, my problem is too. I like Bank. You and I have both talked about it. We can get to rambling because we just like you go into a stream of consciousness, and it's like, oh, and you don't want to get you don't want to get off topic because like I said, I've recorded so many videos where I'm just like, okay, oh wait a minute,
But
I'm
that's
rambling
okay
again.
too, though. I think the rambling is okay as long as what you're saying is beneficial to your audience, you know? I mean, sometimes you may ramble, but you always get back to your point.
True
Yeah.
that. I need to start taking notes. Is what I need to do when I record.
Sticky notes. You should see my laptop. I got
Hmm.
sticky notes everywhere.
Vicky, what kind of content do you make?
No, I mean, like for me, like now, it's
Hmm.
been just some of these like reaction videos for the some of the calls that are just extremely egregious.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to record something for this four-way call,
Hmm.
the double day call that was just recorded, and
Hmm.
I'm like, what do I really have to say besides it's the ghetto? I mean,
So
I,
maybe you could just start off with making like 15-minute videos. So maybe just pick like something very specific from the call, make like a little outline of it, and just start small, like 15 minutes. And then when you get really confident, you can add like 5-minute increments to it, as you
Mhm.
get comfortable with it. Don't feel like it has to be extremely long. Because listen, a lot of people, their attention spans are short. So it's like
right.
get to the point, start off strong. So like don't go on there. I don't even introduce myself anymore because nobody cares. I just get on my channel and I just go right with it because they say the first 20
Yep.
seconds are what matters. So if you
Yep.
can't bring people in within that first 20 seconds, you can forget it. If you can capture their attention within 20 seconds, they're most likely they will stay on your channel and listen to everything that you have to say. So I would try to do like 10-15 minutes, pick whatever call you want, pick a small part of that call, and just give your opinion about it. And just
Bingo.
every day challenge yourself to do a new video. And don't I wouldn't even look at the comments, don't look at analytics, don't look at any of that because that can be discouraging. Just make your content,
Hmm.
put it up, put it up, and then make a schedule. Like, what days do you want to go up? What days you want to put up content? Do you want to just do like one day a week? And another thing, don't compare yourself to anybody else. So just because somebody else is going live every day or posting videos every day, it doesn't mean you have to. Do what's comfortable with what you're comfortable with. So if you're comfortable just doing like maybe Mondays and Fridays, that's cool. Make your outline, make your content, don't think too much about it, and just put it up and
Let me
move
tell
on.
you. Let me tell
In
you a secret. That
in the
let me,
let me
sorry.
in the chat I put paralegal-ish. I put her the link to her
Thank
channel,
you.
and I put the Black Auntie's channel in there as well. So it's right there in the chat. You'll see it. Go ahead, Black Auntie.
Oh, I'm sorry, but Vicky, let me just tell you a little tip that I on my last video. That's what I did when I did the whole. Are they trying to silence Erica? Sometimes if you go through your questions and if you're in phone calls from prison live and you're putting up questions or comments or whatever or anybody's chat, and sometimes though you and I know Vicky, I've read a lot of yours. There's some thought
Mhm.
provoking points. Take those
Mhm.
points and just expand on it. Just
So
like she
good.
like Para was saying, just take care of
Mhm.
those points and expand on it. And just I know because I go off kilter too, but I just kind of put a little sticky note to say get back to, or this is the topic, so I can
Mhm.
wrap it around. And I'm not good. I don't think I'm learning this technique, so I am challenging myself. And it's funny that Paris said that because I said, you know what, you have to challenge yourself, make it a personal challenge, whether it's to go, because I want to get better at going live and wanting to do lives, is challenge yourself and to do that. So today was going to be the day, but I got sidetracked. My internet was acting up. My niece called me at the last minute, asked me to babysit. So I was like, it was a throwaway day today. So I'm glad that Legacy is going live because this is keeping me fresh. And every time I leave a panel, I'm ready to go. I feel like I do my best content after I leave a panel, to be
I
honest.
know you don't want to stop talking, huh?
Well, you know what I want to do? Since we have Vicky right on here, and if you're not going to do this on your own channel, why don't you start us off on the nice little four-way middle school call that we listened to?
Yes.
What
You're
you
on.
mean? Oh, you want
Yeah,
me to talk about it?
yeah, if you
Aw.
Oh,
if you're not going
I
to,
just, I just thought I thought it was so low class, crass, and trashy the way Ernest was trying to describe it. When it was confusing, he was trying to describe. I couldn't tell if he was trying to describe Trisha or Sonia, because when he said wipe your private parts off, just all this low, just crass stuff, and I'm like, oh, you want a slave? That's what you want.
oh, wait, you know what? When he said that part about, if you gotta pee and it's not, she'll hold your thing for you. That did y'all catch that when he said that?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That
He's
disgusting.
girl. It's just crass. It's just like, okay, yeah, oh, yeah, Shirley ain't gonna do that. No, Shirley will pay for somebody to do it. That's what kind of lady you married. So why are you mad at that? You don't mind spending her money. So why
But
are you? Go
but
ahead. Sorry.
not to cut you off, but yet remember that if I was in a wheelchair and had one leg walking, would you mean to tell me you wouldn't help me or some? Remember that call when Shirley was pretty much letting him know, Ben, I'm done, and he was still. So wait a minute, if I had one leg in a wheelchair walking around, that conversation. Now you want to have that conversation with her, but you really think that you got this woman now who you think is going to wipe you behind? Because I'm here to tell you, Sonya just does not seem like the wiping of the behind type.
Well, remember,
The
she said she can almost give a care that her dad had passed away.
I was getting ready to say that the sister was the one that took. He said the sister was the one that took care of the daddy, and not Sonia. Sonia didn't even want to go to the funeral.
And
I
then
Sonia
thought
was.
he was talking about the sister when he was making those remarks because I never thought that was Sonya.
I think he was talking about the sister because he said the sister
Okay.
was the one that got into bed with him. The
Hmm.
sister was the one that changes his diaper and was there with him until the end.
he was talking about the sister, but what I'm saying is Sonya would never do that. She just
Oh,
doesn't
I agree.
seem the type
No.
that would do that. But and if y'all can think back, we heard another call, and he talked about when he was talking up the sister again. He talked about how he would take care of you. I mean, and he talked about how fine she was too. Those things stuck out in my mind because it was almost like, if you can have her, Nesta, would you choose her over what you got now?
He
I'm
would have
just,
probably tried to
Definitely.
have both of them.
yeah, the way he gets down, yeah, I can believe it.
But you know what? Remember last time when I told y'all that I think that Nesto loved Shirley but wasn't in love with her? That's what I mean. Like, I think his idea of love is what someone can do
For him.
for him.
Mhm.
What
Hmm.
can you do for me? What lengths are you gonna go to show me that you're gonna be there for me? That's his idea of love, not, love like how we view it or need it or want it. He just wants somebody to be able to do whatever he wants to do, whatever he says. That's his idea of love. And I think Shirley, at some point, did whatever he wanted her to do. And that's why he was so upset when she was like, "I'm done." I don't think he gave a you know what about her not wanting to be there, not wanting to be married to him anymore. I think his pride was hurt more so because he couldn't get anything else from her.
Mhm.
Well, yeah,
That's it.
and
Okay.
he is so crass and so uncouth. When
Mhm.
he's talking about Sheridan and that boyfriend, and it just, I'm like, Shirley, again, I used to put the monkeys in the chat, hear no evil, see no, speak no evil. How did she let this man even in her sphere? That's the unanswered question for me because we talked about on another panel. She's never going to talk about, never going to write a tell all or, have a tell all. So I'm still trying
Mm-hmm.
to understand that. I don't know why. I
Right.
don't
That man wouldn't have been able to talk to me on the phone. I'm sorry. He just not talking on.
Girl, like I just okay. So when he was saying when he lied to Dre and said that he told he said he when he told Shirley when Dre was asking about his court case and he said I'll be in here another 2 months and I told Shirley just do what you can do. I don't want to hear nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Like I believe she did allow some of that because there was probably a little bit of allure because he did kind of throw off he may have thrown off some machismo that she was attracted to. But then a lot of I truly believe a lot of times she was embarrassed by him.
Most definitely.
Y'all, this is a little bit off topic. It's still Shirley and Nesto, but listen. So you know how she could be a potential witness for the financial crimes, right? What do y'all think she knows that's valuable to the prosecution?
Well, one thing she knows is she's paying back some wage from her salary has been attached. I don't, you
I
know,
honestly don't think she knows anything about
when
financials. I don't.
You don't
yeah,
think so?
No. I mean,
Now, go
to
ahead.
have to go through 5 evictions,
Mm-hmm.
5,
Mm-hmm.
you would have thought maybe after the first or second one, financially, you stood up and said, I'm going to take more control. But for
Mm-hmm.
her to have not done that, I honestly don't think she knew. Or whatever he told her, that's what she accepted as the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So does she really know? I don't think so.
now the last house that they lived in, I'm not sure if that was the one that supposedly had. I believe it was the water bug or the we call them water bugs here,
Mm-hmm.
infestation. But can you remember a call? She was in the call, Deb, I believe, and they were talking, and he brought up that house. He said, and how we had to move because you saw a little bug. And it made me,
Mm-hmm.
it always stuck out in my head. Did she know why they were leaving? And did she not find out that they were evicted until she got that wage garnishment? That I was trying to put that together because it sounds like that's what he was trying to say. That's why they had to move, and not because. And I do not believe that this man, and if he did, he's a fool, put $63,000 worth of work into the kitchen I
Mm.
think the kitchen in the basement, $63,000 or something like that. That doesn't make sense to me either. So I really think, and when I made my video, because there's so many people that says Shirley had to know, she had to know, she had to know. No,
Mhm.
all Shirley knew is that someone was doing her errands,
Mm-hmm.
heating up her car in the morning, and taking care of her. That's what she knew. I can believe that she did not know about his financial crimes, let alone the other ones, the SA ones. I can believe that. I really don't believe that she is involved like some people want to make her sound.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So, but I think she can attest to, like say for example, those correspondence that was going on between that other property and her. She did not write that, especially when it starts off. We're gonna pay our rent. We got other bills to pay. Mama,
Now, when I suffered through listening to the transcript reading over there on that one channel,
Oh
I do
gosh.
remember I do remember hearing her say that the only transactions that were in Nesto's bank account were the Venmo and the Zelle from the victims. And then Shirley was depositing money into Nesto's account as well.
and
Or was that
remember,
Nesto
remember,
depositing?
Uh-huh.
Or was that Nesto transferring money from Shirley's account to his account?
Right. Right, could have been. And like we never gonna know because we know how that person reads. So I could have even just misinterpreted. I was doing my best, but something about either he or Shirley or somebody with his account making deposits.
Mhm.
well, remember, he had to use. He made it clear when he did his little interview that he had to use Shirley's card to buy that computer because
Hmm.
for that.
Yes, because they said that there wasn't any other transactions in that now, and I don't know how many accounts he has, but this specific account, There weren't any other transactions, not from the barbershop or anything like that. It was just Venmo and Zelle from the victims.
I do
So
have a
maybe he really was broke, y'all. Y'all think
he
he was
he
broke?
was he was hand to mouth. He was
Yeah.
like ripping and robbing, and like a lot of that stuff he brought home to Shirley to try to show, recoup whatever he took from her, because that was her paycheck. That was his paycheck when she got paid. Let's just call a
Mm-hmm.
spade a spade. But what I
Mm-hmm.
think that what he was trying to do with that house is he was trying to squat. Because there's in some states they have those squatter laws where, and it may be national. I'm not sure, but if you can prove that you put so much work into the house, you can try to take over. You can try to take
Hmm.
over and become, you know, claim ownership.
Wow.
I
Wow.
know you can do that here in Texas.
Let me ask
Okay.
you guys, around
Hmm.
the power of attorney. I do remember there was a part, maybe I heard wrong. Excuse me. But she was talking about going to the bank. I think he had a little bit of money in a bank account somewhere. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that was part of the power of attorney too, so she could get access to whatever money he had in that bank account. What do you guys think? Did I hear wrong?
Wouldn't
I
that be
think I heard
frozen?
that. Yes,
Uh,
Aisha.
I don't know. Now that's a good point, but I just remember her saying something about going to the bank and having these documents. So I didn't know if that, but also too, he was still talking about some property. So I don't know. I was just wondering. Now I forgot about the frozen asset deal. So maybe
Right.
that.
Mm.
I just thought she was going to the bank to
Oh,
look
when
at the actual
she
monthly
girl,
statements.
Well,
look at
you
the
know what? When
comment.
she was, here's two things I didn't understand. One thing that I do kind of understand, I didn't realize that her accounts had been frozen. So that could lead to why, like, she couldn't even buy shoes, a car, like, why she couldn't do anything. And she was living paycheck to paycheck. And then I also didn't know that, oh, shoot, I lost it. Go ahead, y'all. It'll come back to me.
So wait,
So
so
I'm
Shirley's
sorry.
bank account was for, oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
Go
No,
ahead.
no. We saying the same thing. You can
Oh.
finish it.
So Shirley's account was frozen. So maybe that's what she got. Oh Lord, y'all, my head is
I just
spinning.
I don't know what came out recently that made me that I found out her stuff was frozen. And maybe, I could just be daydreaming this, but I swear that it was something that said her accounts had been frozen. And I'm gonna say this too, because since it's right in my mind, I really feel the way that these people are titling these articles that they're writing on her on Nesto, saying, oh, he married her so he could gain access to people. And even though I believe that that's true, I just think that the way that they're titling these articles that they're writing, it's kind of hurtful. I would think if it were me, I'd be so hurt. I mean, it's bad enough I'm going through this, but now they're making it obvious that this man married me. And he only did it just to see what he can get from me. And we've heard the jail calls, so we know what
Yeah.
that whole situation is given as far as why he married her. But I
Hmm.
also, because my heart did go out for her because this man has spent, and the numbers are out there. How long and how many calls there are between him and Sonia versus how many calls there were between him and Shirley. Even right from the
Hmm.
start, from the beginning. And so, I mean, I just feel so sorry for her. I know a
I
lot of people don't.
I do. I have empathy for her. I wouldn't feel as far as the articles being wrote up about me saying, because I know they're connected, they're trying to keep it with Steve. Steve Harvey Morning Show co-host, husband, blah blah blah. I wouldn't feel bad because what that does is that's self-preservation. Because baby, I was used. I walk in there looking
Hmm.
like a poor, humble wife in that courtroom, and yes, I was used. He used me, because that way you don't have to be so implicated in it. Because a lot of that stuff, those proceeds that he got from his alleged crimes, came back to the house with her for her, like the vehicles, that ring. So I would definitely like. I wouldn't feel bad about it because you know what? It takes some of that blame and that some of that those accusatory looks from people, and off of you and back onto him and his co-defendant. I wouldn't feel bad.
We've had many discussions on another platform about Shirley and her culpability. I always call Shirley an ostrich. She just stuck her head in the sand. She should have
Mhm.
been questioning those things, but again, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. She had to, I mean, come on. What was he really doing out there in those streets that was bringing in the kind of money to buy a G-Wagon, to buy, that diamond ring? And, she just didn't ask. It was just like, if I don't know and nobody's knocking on the door questioning it, then I'm going to take it. Because you see how easily she gave that ring up. That was one of the first calls. Like, if I have to give it back, I'll give it back. I think she knew she was on borrowed time, but I don't think she understood how bad his enterprise was.
Well, this is how I look at it. As far as I can tell, we know he didn't pay rent with money. The only thing that I can truly say he did with some of the money that he got from victims was get her that ring and that G Wagon. I can't see what else he did with all of the money that he took from these people. And also, how do you guys, I'm very interested in this because this is just bothering me. How do y'all feel about this situation, however you want to interpret it? One minute, this man says that the man gave him $100,000 to take, to give his daughter a better life. This is the victim, the trafficking victim. That was the first thing Nesto said. Then, we find out that this man, part of this $100,000 was for this car, but yet he didn't have for, I think, Melanie Scrutchin's car. He never had title or anything to give to this man, but yet Sonia is trying to make this man be a character witness against his daughter. All of that sounds convoluted, but how do y'all, knowing all this, how do y'all think? How do y'all feel about this?
I don't think there's $100,000 involved at all. I think he made up the money issue to kind of divert our attention from the daughter possibly being the essay victim. And then, because like $100,000 does not purchase you a car. We're talking about multiple cars or a very expensive car. And then if I had $100,000, and I was going to invest in my daughter, I would give it to my daughter. I wouldn't give it to you. So I just thought it was a very convoluted way to try to distract and give us like other areas to look at, and you're blinded by the other lights, and you're not really focusing on the main issue. So that's the way I feel about that situation. And I know I'm going back, but can I say one thing about the four-way call really quick? Do you mind?
Go ahead. Go right ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. I know we got off topic, but I really wanted to say this because I felt very disturbed by the four-way call when he started talking about the women doing certain things for the men. I used to work in an elderly institution where there were old men. They were very crude and very disgusting and looked at women very um, I don't even want to say hotly. It was just it was horrible. And to say those things, I could just feel like the hands, and it was just like disgusting, So for me, I was so triggered by that conversation, and it showed to me his depth of um, his depravity, like how low you can go to say that to another person, and not only say it to him. Did he also say it on the call with her on it, just to share the discussions of what you're capable of doing for him? I'm like, oh my gosh, all these things that we've heard about you, what else is there? So I'm so sorry. We're going to go back to the conversation about the $100,000 and the girl and her father. Thank you. Sorry.
But before we continue with that, now, Miss Saunders, you remember, we know and if people are into BDSM, be into BDSM, that's fine. But we know remember when Dre told him Shirley wasn't one of those type of women that he could
Mhm.
put the dog collar on the bus, and we know the things that he was caught with. We still want to know who used that mask and who did he use the liquid B on, and we know he used those toys on Sonya, the community toys, or as some of people have told me, contaminated toys. So We know the depravity of this man. So it kind of made me feel a little bit uncomfortable hearing him talk. But I mean that's just me. Sometimes when it comes to things of a sexual manner, I get uncomfortable because of things that have happened to me. So yeah, I, I
He,
thought
ge-
that. Back to the
he,
100,000 for anybody, or we can carry on with that. However,
I just to comment or to reply to her. Yes, yeah, it does. I try to laugh off because I have a history as well, and I've taken care of an elderly gentleman who was just as like he spoke like Ernest, because he was an older gentleman who lived in the heyday of Las Vegas, and so he was used to just women being objects and showgirls and whatnot, and he was crude like that too. Um, I try to laugh off some of the stuff that I hear Ernest say because it is comical because it's kind of like who would really, you know, who would mess with this man? But there are people who will fall for it. It was disturbing to hear him talk like that because I was just like ugh, and I could hear. I know Dre, he has his women, but you could hear Dre he's laughing it off too. But it makes me look at him crazy too. Like, why you listening to this? This is
But you
your
know,
friend.
Yes, and that's the question I continue to have. Why does Dre lower his, well, I think, why does he lower his standards to have a conversation with a man in jail? I know he's your friend, but you're in a different place now. You obviously see that. He's not convicted, no, but still, he's in a different place. Why are you lowering your standards to have a conversation with this person and you obviously don't have anything in common anymore?
because
well,
I think
that go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I think Nesto plays heavily on the incident in the woods, and that actually
Hmm.
kind of ties into this poor way call, which it was secondhand embarrassment. I could barely listen to it, but it's I did a reaction. I didn't upload. I was supposed to do that today, but again, I got other things happening. But one of the things that you got to understand, I call the pieces on his game board, not a chessboard, Candyland. Nesto was
Hmm.
trying to hook Dre up. Now he has a history of doing that, but he specifically in this case, I believe he was trying to hook them up because Nesto needed boots on the ground. He needs to know what everybody is thinking and saying. And I am really surprised he hadn't tried to hook Sydney up with Dion because he
Hmm.
wants to know what everybody is thinking and what they're doing. And he's been pocket checking Dre. So if he could position Trisha to get in there and to be able to feed information to Sonya, thereby getting himself information on where Dre's head at. That I believe that's what Nesta was doing because what other reason? Dre clearly has a woman. He was flying out to see her. Dre doesn't have a problem getting women. He's told Nesto that he don't need his help. But Nesto has always got this master plan. Everything is about him and what he was trying to do, in my opinion, was to set Trisha up in a position to be his eyes and ears on Dre so he can kind of control Dre. But that friendship thing always goes back to, of course, 30 years. They were in it, they were locked down together. And I came and got you out the woods that time, my man. And he keeps harping on that to keep Dre tied to him.
You know what? That is a very good analogy. That a whole different perspective. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But I do know he does hold the Woods incident. He like should just reel him in. Just say, when he thinks he's getting away, reel him in with that Woods incident. But yeah, fixing him up with Trisha would kind of give more boots on the ground type of
Hmm.
thing. So you're
Let,
right.
let me
Yeah.
ask y'all this real quick. Have y'all heard of hospice wives?
What? That's
Yeah, yeah,
new.
I was told about that recently. Hmm.
No,
Okay, so do y'all think that's what Nesto is looking for in Sonia?
wait
No.
though. What are you talking? I mean,
So a hospice wife is usually um they're close in age, but it's usually a younger woman who falls in love with an older man, and the older man usually has some type of health ailments going on. So we know he's complaining of like his kidneys failing, he's having trouble memorizing things, so on and so forth. And Who else knows about this so they can help me with the rest? I
No, I
think
do.
it's
Yeah.
okay. Go
You
ahead.
got.
Go
I
ahead.
mean, you're carrying it very well.
Oh, thank
So
you.
you shouldn't feel like yeah, you're good.
Okay, so yeah, so it's usually like men that are in poor health, they target younger women so
Hmm.
that the younger women can fall in love with them and in turn take care of them. And
Did
you
y'all?
notice how,
I'm
huh?
sorry, I just Googled it and Google has it. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm
And
just
so, cause you know how he kept comparing the two, like, well, Shirley, she won't wipe my ass and this, that, and the third. And she doesn't have to. It doesn't say anywhere where she has to do that. But anyway, he kept comparing what Sonya would do to what Shirley would do. And so that just, I don't know why I thought about that. Like maybe he's just looking for somebody where, he could tell her, oh, well, she, kind of like grooming her almost like, oh, well, she's
True.
so pretty and
Yes.
she if I tell her to do her nails this way, she'll do them that way. She wears her hair the way I want, and just building her up, boosting her self-esteem. And you see how she's just head over heels with him. And so in his mind, it's like, okay, well, when I get out, I know for a fact that she's gonna take care of me. It doesn't matter where I am in life, she's gonna be there for me. She's ride or die, this, that, and the third. So that's what made me think about hospice wives.
Yeah, you're right. My mom told me about it maybe a couple years ago when I became a nurse, when I wanted to become a nurse. And because my mom's a nurse and she worked with senior citizens mostly. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so she told me, hey, I need you to be careful about this, especially as
Mm-hmm.
you get older in age and you're still single. There are going to be men that are going to be looking for you just for you to take care of them in their older
Mm-hmm.
age. Mind you, I just had a friend that I saw do this. She's much older in age than I am. She let the man move into her house. 2 months later, she finds out he has cancer. I think he
Mm-hmm.
knew he had cancer before he even moved in. Well, she took
Mhm.
care of him until his dying day. Guess what happened when the funeral occurred? His
Mhm.
family said, you're not invited, you can't come, disavowed her. She has nothing. So basically, a hospice wife takes care of the man, and she's left with
Mhm.
nothing. Now, I see in the chat they're saying Anna Nicole Smith. I'm going to be honest.
Mhm.
Anna Nicole Smith was left with money, though,
Yeah.
wasn't she? So I don't know
Mhm.
if you would say she's a hospice wife because a lot of us, I mean, I don't know a lot of us, but if I had to take care of a man and he was going to leave me with millions of dollars, I don't know. I mean, that's not the same to
That's a
me.
judgment call. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
different.
I just feel like that's a different, situation. But I do get
oh,
that.
I was
But
just
see,
saying.
like oh, I'm sorry, real quick. In Sonya's case, we got to remember at one point she did think that he had a lot because she was going based off of what he wanted her to see, like those RVs, the motor coach, and what else? He had that barbershop and the way he dressed. She was just, taken aback by that. And so in her mind, she thought, okay, well, he got it going on. He got this, he got that. He's posting, when he goes out to these lavish restaurants or whatever. So I think in her mind, she thought she was winning until I think when she got deep into it, she realized, oh no, you're not. You don't
I
have
think
anything.
it's very trifling when she was looking for him. Now, me personally, I'm not into married men, but I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was so trifling when she was looking for him those 4 weeks. How she was all
Mm-hmm.
over Shirley's Instagram trying to figure out where he was, and when she was trying to come up with these alibis and how he couldn't be guilty of certain
Mm-hmm.
crimes.
Mm-hmm.
He was again all over Shirley's Instagram trying to figure out where he was this date and that date. And I just think, like I said, I would never be a side chick, but if you are one, know your place and stay in a side.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But like Nesto said, if my wife ain't gonna do it, then I need somebody else to do it because he's too stupid to do it. But the thing about it, Shirley did what was in her capacity. She's
Yeah.
not, she didn't sign up to be a jail wife. She's paying
Hmm.
your bills, which was far more than a lot of us would do,
Mm-hmm.
marriage or no
Yes.
marriage.
Mm-hmm.
She's paid it. She paid at least 100,000, like a quarter of her salary on three different lawyers. You know, in a short period of time, within less than a year. Like, what more do
Mhm.
you want her to do? She said it, and she's still putting money on the book. She's living with friends. Like, I mean, what?
Mhm.
And then you constantly talking about I'm a divorcer. You telling Sonya you're gonna divorce her. You go back and forth between divorcing her. I think he thought he had bled Shirley as much as he could. um, he had gotten her into as much trouble as he could, and then eventually the other shoe was going to drop. Like he said, people leave him, he doesn't leave them. So
Mhm.
he bleeds them until he can't bleed them anymore, and then they get sick of him,
Mhm.
and then they leave. So I think with Sonya, I think he made some, when initially probably made some quick assumptions that maybe she doesn't have what he thought she's saying that she has, and he hit it, and then he bounced for a little bit, and
Mhm.
then she came back around, and they started linking up again and hanging out or whatever, and she's bragging about all these people that she knows, probably showing them old pictures and whatnot. So he
Mhm.
thought he had a little something, but I
Mhm.
personally think that he was at the point where he knew something was happening with Shirley, to where it was bleeding. He had bled her dry
Mhm.
to the point where it's like she's getting garnished.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute now. Sonia's Edges has mentioned a call that I don't remember where Nesto was telling Dion that he should go meet Sydney. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
remember that call.
Does anybody else
I don't
remember?
remember that
Yeah.
I don't
either.
know that one either.
I remember him asking her, did he go down to that club to see Sydney? And Dion said, no, I'm at home. I'm staying out the streets. It was kind of like he was just trying to brush it off. It wasn't as though it was a big thing. So I do remember the call. I don't remember when that call occurred, but I
Mhm.
do remember that portion of the call when he said those things.
Mhm.
Wow. I, I that went over my head.
Hmm.
Let me ask you guys this. I've asked this before, but well, I'm not even, well, it is a question, kind of, sort of, but in my opinion, I think he was setting Sonya up to be a mark. He thought that she would be the next,
Mhm.
like
Erica King.
school teacher, realtor,
Hmm.
whoever he can hustle. And I'm not sure if he found out that she didn't have anything, or he just didn't get that far along in the game before he got snatched off the streets. But Sonya is so oblivious to everything. It's like she just has this blind spot where she thinks she's above it all, and she doesn't realize that she's being manipulated. I guess maybe I've always said that they're mirrors of each other, and I guess when you're looking at your reflection, I guess it's hard to see those blind spots. And I'm not saying this, well, I guess let's put it this way, I used to think that way. I really do believe that Sonya is a willing participant. She is a nasty woman. I hate to say it. She is
Mhm.
very, very, she is just, I don't have the words to describe her because I've never met anyone in
Right.
person like her. And
Never.
her soul is just black. I mean, her aura, her everything. That's why people are not around her. That's what she doesn't get. What she gives off is very bad energy. And I guess, like, it's even, you can kind of speak to that. But to me, her energy is just bad. And I don't know if that they're just desserts. I believe they deserve each other. I hope that if he does go to jail, that she does stay by his side, because I don't want them affecting anybody else with their bad karma.
Mhm.
Girl, Sonya gone. Sonya has dipped off. She came, she destroyed, and she left. She's an agent of chaos. Is what she is. I've never really met anybody like her who's just blatantly outright just
Never.
a
Mm-mm.
uh an ugly human being like her.
Mhm.
Like, I don't find any redeeming qualities about her whatsoever. Because we've seen all facets of her at this point. She's doesn't have a vulnerable side. She's ruthless to her family. She's ruthless to her kids. She's ruthless to him, but in a really kind of like an innocuous way. Like, just she's. I don't even think she's like fully aware of what she's doing. This is just ingrained in her to be ugly, and she's jealous of other people,
Mhm.
for no reason whatsoever. She's jealous of other people's success. And her and Ernest, you're absolutely right, Bank. Her and Ernest, they do deserve each other because they're just deceivers and takers and just I hate to put it like that because Bank, you know me, you've talked to me. I don't like just calling people just bad people, but there's nothing redeeming about them. They just want what other people have, and they don't want other people to have anything, and they want to just destroy other people. And if somebody has something that they want, they didn't get. I don't know why she got that, and I don't.
Mm-hmm.
She's that kind of person. Even though this person may have worked hard for it, when she talks about black women, I want to strangle her because I'm Caucasian. It's like, ma'am, where?
Right.
Let me tell you, you
Biracial, you
know,
remember?
she's got Caucasian edges. Now, the other day, Wisdom's daughter did. She actually managed to trace and track her lineage down, Sonia's lineage, and there was one white great great grandfather or something, but that was it. Let me tell you
Probably.
something. You, me, I have Caucasian in my family, but you just don't hear me talk about it because I'm not going to talk about it because it's just stupid. I present as a black woman. Why
Hmm.
would I want to go and say, oh, yes, I'm descendant of Jewish people? Oh, yes, my relatives are Irish. Why would I do that? Who cares? Because when you see me, at the end of the day, you see a black woman. I got
Right.
black people's hair, I got black people's skin. I'm just, so I just don't see the need in even mentioning it. Who does that? But her and something that's very telling about that is now her mother has been married, I think, for 20 some years to a Caucasian man. And then, her father, like four or five of her siblings are biracial. And I'm not wondering if that's not where that comes from,
I think so.
psychologically.
I think so.
But
Now,
Yeah.
what does that mean?
there's
Like,
somebody on stage who I don't know. I don't recall seeing you. Can you type in the chat, person backstage? I don't want to call your name out, but if you could type in the chat, please. Go ahead, y'all.
no, I was just saying, what does that mean? Like, if my parents married people, their second marriage was a person of Caucasian descent, and I take on that psychological basis that I am also part Caucasian, what does that mean for me psychologically?
I have no clue.
I,
Okay.
I, I mean, I think that she is. To me, I think she is identifying with that because I think she thinks it'll get her more love and acceptance. I
It
Okay.
don't
doesn't.
know.
Hmm. No, like she's been chosen almost, because her
Yeah.
parents chose those people and they've had a lasting relationship somehow. And
My home.
now I
Go ahead, I'm
want you to
sorry.
choose, somehow I can be chosen as well.
My home state is Louisiana. I'm from New Orleans. I'm basically I would be considered a Louisiana Creole. We have done
Hmm.
our ancestry, and it's very mixed. So I would probably be considered more Caucasian than Sonia. That doesn't give me. It doesn't raise my credit score. It doesn't automatically put $20,000 in my bank account. So I mean, so like, what does it do for you to put down other? I mean, if you get arrested, I'm pretty sure they locked you up as a black. When she got arrested, I'm pretty sure they identified you as African American. So it's not that serious. But I just don't like when she puts down people who are heavier than her, which is most of the
Mm-hmm.
population. She puts down
Hmm.
dark skinned black women, which I just think is like, ma'am, you need to just stop, okay? Because like it is not that serious. Like if you just think that you this big, bad, and fine, why don't you have more?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because you should be using your looks to. I mean, at this point, your looks should have gotten you somewhere. And I do think she's been in the escort. To me, she gives off like, this is just to me. And this is all allegedly, and this is me assuming. So I don't. I'm not saying she is. She gives off old escort vibes. That's me.
Well, it has been said, and I'm gonna tell you something else. It was very questionable to me when she was in for Super Bowl weekend when she went to Las Vegas. That whole trip was questionable for me. And the not oh no, it was when she went to Texas where she supposedly how do you forget your clothes when you go somewhere? How do you pack a bag and forget the clothes? And then she's blaming it on the strip club baby. Do y'all remember that when
I
she
do.
went and she forgot all her clothes? But the funny part about it is she told that story again to Nesto, or she had told it earlier to Nesto, but it was a different state and in a different situation. So you mean tell me you pack to go on these different trips and you forget to take a bag? How do you forget to take your luggage? That's a part of the trip. You're going on a plane. How do you forget that? I don't get that.
Well,
Well,
you
it's
know,
not
think
I,
only
she
that. I mean, once you arrive in the Houston airport and you realize I don't have luggage, nobody goes outside with a sweatshirt on in March. Not in Houston. It's too hot and humid, you know? I mean, like today, it was like 84, 85, but the heat index was 102. What are you doing? It's just not. And then to sit somewhere and see people and take pictures of them and you're sitting with a sweatshirt on. I mean, it just
Hmm.
that made me think she was ashamed of her body. That's what it presented to me. I'm ashamed of my presentation and what I look like. I could be wrong,
You
but
know,
allegedly, that's what my opinion, my assumption, based on what I noticed. I'm going to look at everybody and marvel at the bodies that I see and cover up my own.
she does
I
not. She was talking about the other day how she didn't wear bikinis. And she said the reason why is because it made her feel like she was in her underwear. And she said that her father raised her and he taught her you should have clothes, you should be covered up. And she said that's why. But that's not what I pulled. What she was saying and how she found it wasn't matching. So I
mm-mm.
think it's to it than that.
I think she's ashamed of her body. Number one, like her body style when she was younger was in like when she she always refers back to the 90s. Her body style, her body shape was the style that was like very like that's what men lusted after in the 90s. That very thin, big boobs, that tiny, short little woman, the small package, that kind of that weird, like almost adolescent kind of body style. It's not like that anymore. People are going reverting back to like men are looking more like natural bodies, thicker thicker shapes, and she's still stuck there. And she's although she may be she may be like hating on him and admiring him. I think she is jealous because she's like this. She's a little bitty tiny woman, but she lied because she wears Daisy Dukes all the time.
well, you know what you got to remember too. She has, she had a traumatic incident happen, and for that colon removal, that scar has to be very evident. It's not like a bikini
Hmm.
line scar or anything like that. So also, I remember because I'm just a few years younger than Sonya. Bikinis or two pieces, what was in. Nobody was wearing one piece. So at the point, like we
Hmm.
always say, she's emotionally stunted. I think that came out of that too. Excuse me. But she also mentions too that it was her whole boob thing. Now we know she shows cleavage galore. You want to talk about wearing clothes and being appropriate. We know how inappropriate, she dresses now. So I think maybe when at the time when you would expect her to be out on the beach, because I believe me, in my 20s I was out at the beach, wearing a two piece. So I'm wondering if that also played a part in it too, that she did not want to show off her scars.
Hmm.
Hmm.
That may be the case. Let me tell you something. I wore younger I wore swimming suits, and then older I did. Now I will tell you a little fact about me. I was over 300 pounds at one point in my life, and went to Jamaica and still put on. Now it wasn't a bikini, and I will never wear a bikini. It was like a nice little swim dress, but I that's what I put on, and that's what I wore. Now I've lost a lot of weight and made it down to a 12, and with some stress that came in my life a couple years ago, I've gained weight, but I would still put on a swimming suit. I am not going to let anybody make me feel uncomfortable about the skin that I'm in. So at over 300 pounds, I'm gonna do it, and now I'm gonna do it because I just never hated myself. I never did. The
Mhm.
only
Hey,
thing I hated when I was a big person was for somebody to tell me, "Oh, you sure are pretty for a big person." I hated that. But other than
Wow.
that, I just was never ashamed because I guess because I was never made to feel ashamed about it, that I never was. And then I lost the weight because I was tired of carrying it. But I just never, I don't know what it's like to just be ashamed of what you look like because that's
hey,
just never been for me.
I hate to cut you off, but did you read the back chat for that person that you had down backstage? They answered some questions. I don't know if it makes a difference to you, but they did answer your question.
Yeah, I didn't. Thank you for telling me. I did not know that. Okay, y'all carry
Oh,
on while I read this.
I just wanted to say too that I have a friend. She is my oldest friend. We've known each other since we were 3 years old, so it's over 50 years, and I love the fact that we are still connected. But she's tiny like Sonia, and it was for her 50th birthday party. Her daughter had reserved a room at a really nice restaurant, and it was just so funny to me because I think about this all the time when Sonia's talking. But the servers and people in the restaurant, they thought that she was like an anomaly. They were like, "Oh my God, you can't be 50, you can't be 50," because she does look like she may be in her late 30s, early 40s. But we also know my mother was the same way. When I was little, my sister was 9 years older than me. But when we moved on our street, the teenage boys, the older boys on the street, thought my mother was the big sister. So we all know the whole black don't crack kind of thing. So
Mhm.
my mother always carried her age very well. But my friend is really tiny like that. And one of the things that she said she hated, I know Vicky, you're also very petite. She said she used to hate guys approaching her, talking about, "Ooh, I like you, that little itty bitty, you a little itty bitty thing. I could just talk to
Yeah,
you."
that's the grossest thing.
Exactly. She was just like, ew, like, don't talk to me. So, Sonya can act like she likes that littleness, but my mother always been a small woman. I've got and she went down to like 110 pounds after I was born. She's like a runt of her family, like her and her couple of her brothers. They're just little people. But when I go watch her play Sim, my mother still plays Sim. She's almost 80 years old. But I'll look at her character and it'll be this plump, curvy woman. I'm like, why is this woman so thick? And I never really thought about it that, we always think there's a bad side to being plump or, having a little bit of weight on you when you envy, because I know I was always a very voluptuous person. One of my teenage years used to bother me. I thought I was fat, but I was just curvy, and I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't like the boy attention, all that other stuff. But we think that I used to look at my two best friends who were tiny. I used to want to be like them so much, and what I realized as I grow older is that it's that we have to be comfortable in the skin we're in. So, Legacy, want to hear that you were always comfortable in your skin, and when you decided it was time to make a change, you made a change. Because very few of us are afforded that, and I had to come to that conclusion myself. As long as I'm happy with myself, and if I want to make a change, I'm going to do it for me. But yeah, I think that brings it to Sonya kind of acting like she likes being little. I think if Sonya had her way, she'd probably be about a stallion. She'd be about 5'6", 7", 160, 70 pounds with curves galore.
The
Yeah, I agree.
Legacy Moon, congrats to you for losing the weight. I will
Thank
say I've always wanted to be a voluptuous girl. I had a few years of being like kind of with a booty, and that was when I was drinking, and but I also had a stomach to match. And then when I stopped drinking and I lost all my weight, my booty went away, and I'm just like, oh, okay. And I realize now I'm not gonna be, I don't have hips. I don't have a booty. I got boobies, but that's about it, And so it is what it is. You do have to be comfortable. It is. There is somebody out there for everybody. Somebody is gonna like you, but to answer your point, Bank, when I was 13, this is when I started developing, and grown men used to come up to me um, all the time. Like, that was like just the oddest. It was the weirdest thing. Like they would come up with my mom and I look like sisters, and they would come up to me with my mom, and my mom would almost go into a rage, like, "This is my child. I'm her mother." and they just men don't some men don't care because they've been kind of like Nesto. They've been brought up in a society where it's okay. I don't even want to say some of the crude things that they would say, like, there's stuff, if she got hair we can go there, like stuff like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
wow.
yeah. So Sonya is kind of, I think Sonya is used to that kind, and Ernest too. I think he comes from that kind of, that very inappropriate. I don't even want to call it old school, but it is kind of old school mindset and way up mentality of handle how women or young ladies are supposed to just give in to men.
Right.
It's very misogynistic. It's horrible.
You see,
I mean, I know he's not that old, but I get dirty, like from the start, I just get dirty old men vibes from him. And I'm going to tell you something, as far as developing, I don't know. I can't think back to when I did not have a chest. I've always had one. I can remember I used to love to wear those little underoos, and I had to come out of them because I had to, my parents was like, you have to have a bra. And I had just went into the second grade. And I mean, I had to have one. It wasn't well, we should try to train. No, I had to have one. And, I am in a very extended cup size now, but the older men, I don't know. I guess they think it's impossible for a child to be developed like that, but they do give a lot of attention that is uncomfortable. So I guess that maybe that is why, just certain things make me uncomfortable as far as in a sexual manner because of that. But
and
yeah, deal with that.
they just give me ski vibes. Me and Vicky have talked about on another platform, and I'm just gonna throw it out here. But I was of the opinion. I'm not really sure, Vicky, or anybody who has heard me say this, if that's the case even now. But at the beginning, the way Nestle used to talk about Sheridan, I used to side eye that, a real hard
Oh, girl,
side eye.
you know how I feel about that.
What do you
I think
feel?
I think
I agree.
something happened,
Or
inappropriate happened between them, because he it seems like he has to have some sort of hold over women, over women. Like
Mhm.
he tries, like, seems like he tries all the women. So like when he was talking to Dre about hooking him up with Panay and whoever, he has to have some sort of control over the women. So I believe, and this is me just theorizing in my head, when this young lady started, she was already a older teenager when they got together, um
Mhm.
but and she was they used to hang out together. Her and
Mhm.
Ernest used to hang out together. They were really cool, but I don't think he can't keep that very long. So that's why I think that's why he doesn't really call his daughter, like the daughter that he's cool with, too often, because he keeps that boundary there. But like some of his other kids, he's been inappropriate with. I think he's been
Mhm.
inappropriate with Sheridan. Now he may not have touched her or done
Mhm.
anything to her, but I think he's probably made comments. And there's a way that you can, and because I was abused by my biological father. There's a way
Mhm.
that you can abuse somebody, even just by like ogling and staring at them, and just
Mhm.
making comments. You don't have to touch them for it to be abusive too. So I think
Okay.
he's been inappropriate with her. um and also I think the way the more stuff that they're dropping right now, that man was out there, he was out there with everybody. Like
Mhm.
he was doing the whole Atlanta.
but think about it
Let's
too. And Vicky, he handles the women close to him, like even his daughter. He withholds love. He holds his love and his affection as a weapon. And Sheridan, that's not his daughter, so he couldn't. Their bond was later on. And to me, if you go back to listen to the way he interacted with Hazel, what other kind of control? If he can't withhold love from Sheridan, he can try to
right.
victimize in a in an inappropriate manner and see if she
Mhm.
likes. That's something he could hold over her head, and I don't think she fell for the okie doke. So then she definitely became public enemy number one, and he had to move her out of the way because she may slip up, get mad at him one day, and say something to Shirley. Because one thing
Right.
Mhm.
separate from those grandchildren, she might beef with Sheridan, but she ain't beefing with the grandbabies.
Right.
I want to say thank you to Night Skinned, and she says, great commentary, insightful panel, entertaining chat. Love it here. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I have also added JD to the stage. So let's hear
Hi,
what.
JD.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for adding me. Appreciate the opportunity to speak, and also wanted to also add I really enjoy the commentary, and it's partly why I wanted to join, even just for a moment, because I think a lot of you are very spot on with the observations. Just from my personal opinion, I think Nesto is he's a very when you think of people who are manipulative and sick on a negative spectrum, he is that, and somebody who takes enjoyment out of manipulation and getting a rise of triggering people. And unfortunately, I think that he does have a skill to identify people's insecurities and their weaknesses and use that against them. And I know you were just introducing. I can continue. I can wait and add more. But I think, especially with him and Sheridan, because I think he definitely in my opinion, I think he used his mentality and his ways of getting to women to play into even their mother daughter relationship, and in a way. He knows how to say things to trigger shame and things that would cause people to, I think, normally fight against each other, because even when he mentions it, like things to Shirley on the phone, it's like he'll say it in a way to trigger her or remind her, like
Hmm.
and almost shame her for helping her even now despite everything. But I think it's for a reason.
Mhm. Mhm.
JD, I am getting so many compliments on your voice up here. I don't know if you're seeing them, but everybody just loves
Hmm.
your voice. They say you sound real pleasant,
Oh,
and I
thank
agree
you.
with what you're saying. And what concerns me about Sheridan is what happened, because in the beginning she was in his corner. I mean, she helped plan that surprise proposal. What happened? I mean, besides she probably peeped what he was really doing and how he really was, but I just really want to know what exactly happened. And she's not, even though it's none of my business. And I also noticed that she wasn't on the preliminary list as far as being someone who's going to give testimony. But remember, she was a victim. So, and I think that that probably has to do with him having that house and her being on there and not knowing anything about it. But what happened? What could have possibly happened to make her turn? Is what has anybody ever thought about that?
Hmm.
I truly think he's been inappropriate with her. That's my take. You guys go ahead.
I'm going to say too, real quick before I forget this thought, is that also too. I noticed that she is cool with some of his daughters. I think they also gave Sheridan some insight on him.
Oh yeah, yeah, and yeah, because remember in the beginning, all of this is Sheridan's fault because she went to the police and she was talking, and then she gave the police his daughter's information based on some lies they told her, and then they came in. Y'all know the story and how it goes.
Hmm.
Thank you so much, Nay Love. I want to say thank you. She says, so proud of you, Legacy Moon, True Crime and Mysteries. Great chat. Thank you so much. But yeah, y'all remember that conversation where, all of this was Sheridan's fault now because it's been multiple people's faults, within
Hmm.
the years. So, but remember,
Legacy. I'm sorry. Night Skinned also sent a super chat. I just wanted you to see it before it goes away.
Oh, she sure did.
yeah, I got it. I saw it.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
Thank you though for looking out. So what do you all think about that? About yeah, what happened to make her turn, and What do y'all think about it being her fault and she got the daughters involved and she got this ball rolling, the lie?
Do you know what sticks out in my head? There's a phone call with Shirley where she's talking about it's Panay, where she's talking about her friends, like it's other people who are getting into who got to Sheridan and were talking to Sheridan and basically got her to see the other side. I think unfortunately for Nesto, he messed with the wrong people who I think had they he takes
You're breaking up.
people and does what he needs to do to isolate them and get them
JD,
in a position.
JD, can you repeat that because you were breaking up and you were making some good points?
I was saying that I think that Nesto really underestimated a lot of what he got into because unfortunately, especially in my opinion, with the situation with Sheridan, the call with Shirley kind of talking to him about it's Panay, it's, kind of saying it's her friends who got to Sheridan and have been talking to her. And, that's the reason why she went to the place. I think that Nestor is the type of person who he just talks and talks. I think he knows how to wear people down. And I can see a situation in the home where he could just talk to Shirley and talk a certain way but at the same time put pressure on her to put pressure on her daughter. But I think that unfortunately for him, I think that Shirley was not the only person in Sheridan's corner. Whatever happened, um, he underestimated that for that and a lot of other people. Unfortunately, that's what I think at least.
I have
Yeah,
to agree.
I agree.
Mhm. And the reason why I agree is because I think it was a combination of everything. Nesto's a snake in the grass. And some of us, we have excellent senses. I believe I have excellent instincts. My sister always told me to go with my gut, and that's what I did. And when I met people, you size them up. And some of us have that, little, the red flag that they call today the red flag. But to me, it's just, something just don't fit right. And if it don't feel right, you just exit stage left. So I think a lot of people around Shirley got those vibes off of Nesto. Shirley was the only one living in the fantasy land. I used to say that, or I do say, that Nesto's friends and family let him think that he was king of the hill. I also think now that Shirley's circle of friends let her think that she was Marjorie Harvey for them, and they let her play out this friend. But they saw what it really was. So that's the problem that Shirley's grappling with. The mask has slipped. I always talk about the poem "We Wear the Mask." Shirley's mask has slipped. And so for us normal or regular people, as I said, what I said, I always talk about, we live in the reality. Nobody allows us to go play pretend like Nesto and Shirley. And so in a way too, maybe he just got lucky. It's almost like he hit the lottery when he met Shirley because he met somebody with has way more class than he could ever dream of when he was in that cell back in the 90s of ever having. She entertained him, and boy, did he take advantage of it. I think Shirley knows that.
What do y'all think about, or has anybody, and that doesn't mean just because I'm asking this question to disregard any of the other ones I just brought up, because when you comment, say whatever you feel. But what do you think about all these people who he keeps talking about he helped? Where are they and who are they? I mean, if he's helped all these people, where are his character witnesses? Because no one's come forward.
I think he helped, but at the same time, you can help someone and not help them at the same time. Like I heard that he was helping in the community by giving free haircuts. Well, he wasn't giving the haircuts. He probably asked the contracted barbers in the shop to give free haircuts. So that's how he helped. Or he gave out free turkeys. Well, those turkeys are probably donated to him. And so it's like he's helping people, but he's trying to take credit for the responsibility of all the help that he did, but I don't really think he was that great of a statesman in his community. I mean, you would when the news reported the crimes, they never stated, anything about his charitable donations in the community, it was not a shock. It was more like, oh, let me tell you about this person. So I just feel like he, I don't think there's really people that he helped. I know he says, oh, I gave this to Sheridan and all this. And I'm like, what did you do? I feel very confused when he starts saying that. I'm like, who are these people? Even when Dre says it, I'm like, he's buying into the myth that he helped all these people because he said it. I don't really think he did it. It's more like, I'm going to create this illusion, but it's not really there to me.
I do
That's just my
remember
opinion.
seeing on his Instagram there was one post, and it was kind of confusing, and I kind of just didn't believe it, where he had these clothes, and he had this one of those big old things, that they use in stores, and he was pushing it around, and it went from that to a cotton candy machine. And I said, oh, well, I guess that's an example of his charity work. But I never saw the charity. It was almost like, from what, if we can believe Erica, he kind of kept somebody around to video every time he wanted to do little skits. So any charitable things that we've caught him doing on his Instagram, were those just skits, or was he really doing those things? Hello, Dimples Wimples 504. What do y'all think?
Skit.
Mm.
Yeah, a poorly written skit. He says he doesn't want Tyler Perry to produce his movie, but the rate he's going, Tyler Perry will be an upgrade compared to the skits that he's tried to produce. So, I mean, I just think it was all a skit. It's not there. There's no there.
Tyler Perry, he would be lucky. He would get so lucky. He would luck out if Tyler Perry, even Tyler Perry's like lowest budget movie, it could be Meet the Browns Part 57. 57. I mean, he'd be lucky to get Tyler Perry. He gonna get one of these little Tubi directors if he gets something. If Sonya gets on her game or the other lady gets on her game, and then he can probably get something.
Wait,
I'm telling
do
you,
y'all
those
remember the
wigs.
Go
I'm
ahead, go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
I was just talking about the wigs that Sonya, the hair pieces she wears. I would love to see that played out in a Tyler Perry film. The wigs are already horrible, but just to see it look like worse than that, come on.
The
That's
the
comedy right
remember
there.
the braid wig with Shamar Moore?
Yes.
No, 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 no. The wig on, what is that movie called? It was Felicia Rashad was in it. The woman, I can't think of her name, but she used to play on In the Heat of the Night. Who else was in that movie?
Fall from
Where,
you talking
where
about Fall from Grace?
Yes. Now, them were some bad wigs in that movie. That was
Yeah.
horrible. I actually felt sorry for the actresses wearing them.
Who was it that did their own hair? I think it was Kelly Rowland did her own hair.
I know that's right.
She
I
said,
did
"I'm
my
not doing
mom
this.
too.
I'm not doing this."
Does anybody remember my sister's phone again? Does anybody remember the phone call where Sonya had checked tracked down the director that had been
Yes.
cellmate
Mhm.
mates with
Hmm.
Nesto? Does anybody remember that
Mhm.
call? Wasn't
I
that
do.
I'm just curious how what how did she find him? That wasn't a coincidence. Sonya Sonya's got 80, we can tell she has some sort of ADHD or something's up with her where she has focus issues, but she's hard pressed focused on knowing everything about him. How in the heck did she get like in touch with his cellmate from Kentucky, who just
Mhm.
so happens to be a director for Tubi?
Mhm.
Ah,
what? Was she found Nesto?
Well, that's not hard. He's a jailbird.
Well, I mean, and remember, not only did she find that guy, but she found the one guy who was supposed to be the witness to whatever, I don't know. The one that was he wasn't Jamaican, Trinidadian, or y'all. So she can track down some people. She can't wake up in the morning to go to his Zoom court, but she can track down all these people if she thinks it's going to put money in her pocket. That
Now,
that's an interesting thing.
I
Yeah.
think she found the foreigner. Didn't she find him after she gained access to his Instagram?
Yeah.
His phone, I believe. I thought it was his
Mm-hmm.
phone.
Was it the phone?
Oh, the
Well, wouldn't
guy
the
that was
police
from
still have
Jamaica.
his phone? I think the
They
police will still
down.
have it, right? They don't have it?
Let me tell you, she supposedly, remember when she got that power of attorney? That's when you started
Mm-hmm.
to see his Instagram disappear. And remember, she went to the bank and everybody
Mm-hmm.
said she was really there to rob her, to rob it. I said she was at the check cash in place. Y'all remember all that? So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
right after that's when she supposedly got his property. But I mean, whatever they need, they have gotten, they have downloaded and all. But I really thought
Right.
the case had to be over before any property was returned.
That's what I thought too. But I guess it just depends on the jurisdiction, maybe. But
I mean,
um,
bank can probably explore. I mean, bank and paralegals legalish can explore a little bit more on that, but I'm pretty sure they've cloned his phone and they've dumped it, and it's already
oh
in
yeah, they do that digital, that forensic download right away.
yeah. So I mean, they can give it back to him, release it. It is a part of his property. She's right about that, but
Hmm.
it's that phone, it's really useless because they got what they wanted. They got the Instagram records as soon as they dumped his
Right.
phone.
Right.
Now, Queen Lily says that she didn't get the actual phone. She had his phone records pulled with his permission.
Oh.
Be get up.
From okay, so now I'm
Oh,
wondering, but see, I'm wondering though because who his carrier is, because Verizon will not do that. Even with the police, like you can't even Verizon won't authorize phone records to be released.
Mm.
And
It
Apple, sometimes they
can.
give you a hard time too.
It may be easier if you happen to work at a law office or have some connections
Oh,
to
that's
some law
right.
people.
You're right.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
well, I mean, even though we know she really doesn't, but she was sending that stuff legal mail, and
But
she had no business sending, the little naughty picture.
I could have swore I heard her say on one of those calls that she looked in his DM, and that's when she found the message from one of the victims, or either the victim's father, inquiring about where Nesto was. Did y'all hear that?
I
Yeah,
thought
I
that
heard it. I
was
just thought
the
she logged
victim.
in.
I thought
Like
she
So
was.
she
I'm
logged in.
wondering,
I'm
huh?
sorry.
Yeah, I thought it was the victim too.
Yeah, so that's why I'm wondering, like, did they just figure out what his login information was? Excuse me, his
Right.
login information was, and she just maybe logged in from her phone, one of her phones, or
That's what I was thinking. I didn't think that she physically had his phone because she was
Mhm.
asking for passwords and logins, and usually
right.
all that's stored in the phone anyway. Well, mostly with Apple. I don't know about Androids. So it
Mm-hmm.
just automatically logs in for you. So
Mm-hmm.
I was assuming that she was getting the information and trying to log in to another source to get the
Mm-hmm.
information.
What
Now,
I
I've
think.
never had to like ask for phone records or anything, but if you are just a civilian and you request phone records, is it text messages that they attach, or is it just like a phone record, like phone numbers? What's all on there?
Oh, I
on
don't know.
the, his personal stuff or the jail stuff.
On like his cell phone records. So like I know law enforcement, when they subpoena phone records, they have access to everything. So like they do the forensic download, and that'll give you like access to videos and pictures. But when you subpoena the phone company, they can give them like text
Mhm.
message and all the phone records. But like as a civilian, if you request your phone records, what do you get? Do you have the same privilege that law enforcement has, or is it just you get like a download of all the phone numbers that are in the phone, or like,
You may get call. I think you get call records, and
mm-hmm,
I really don't, for civilians, I really don't think that they do that anymore. I worked for T-Mobile years ago, and
mm-hmm,
they used to, you used to be able to get a printout of like your text messages. And like, maybe years ago when they had the two-way pagers, you
mm-hmm,
can like get, you can get the text messages from like the two-way pagers. I don't really think they do that as much anymore. I
mm-hmm,
think you can just get like a call log, really. You might, because you can't get like the I don't you like say, let's say you want all the text messages sent. You might be able to get a basic. You might be able to get a basic set, but like if it's a picture message,
mm-hmm,
that may not transmit. That may not print out. You may not be able to get that.
right.
Um, I know hit like when she was going for the bank records or whatever she was doing at the bank. Yeah, somebody said that she was trying to get the little $2,000 he had in there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if she
The
was trying to get
$2,000. I didn't know he had 2,000.
And she
somebody
withdrew it from the bank. It's $200, $2,000.
I don't know. That's what somebody said earlier in the chat. I don't remember hearing that.
Mm-hmm.
But that could. But there's so many calls. There's so much information. So I don't know what where to find what call to find that on. But I work because I work in banking and I fulfilled subpoenas before. The stuff
Mm-hmm.
that if she's going to the bank and requesting bank records, they cannot give her the stuff
No.
that the like a subpoena actual subpoena will request,
Mm-hmm.
so like
Right.
call records, IP addresses,
Mm-hmm.
applications, things like that. They're going to give you everything.
Mm-mm. I don't think they would give everything, but here's what I think might be a loophole.
Mm-hmm.
As a scammer, Nesto would have multiple phones, and depending on the types of the phones, having access to one might be a window into getting access or being able to like send notifications to get access to things like emails. Because Sonia has
Mm-hmm.
mentioned things like your email, basically all your leases are on this email. How would she
Mm-hmm.
know?
Right.
How would she know that? Did she see it for herself,
Mm-hmm.
or did he tell her? Those are
Right.
things that I'm curious about. But it sounds like, because if Sonia likes to be proactive and she likes to do
Mm-hmm.
things herself, I can see her, trying to get one, because she's mentioned different numbers, and I know he's had different numbers based on other conversations,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the people he interacts with also have multiple numbers. So I think that some of the things that maybe between interacting with Dion and potentially other people, she might have
Mm-hmm.
got access to one thing that led to another to help Nesto collect his research and his information to prove his case, but also satisfy something for herself. It's my
Right.
opinion.
Okay.
The things that they seem to think will be a help to me ends up
Mm-hmm.
being a hindrance. Now I heard that Sylvia played on her membership or something one time the video that he's supposed. We've heard there's this video about how he filmed his daughter and she was acting crazy. So some of the people who saw that video said that it did not. They can't see how it would help his case one way or the other, and it really didn't put him in too much of a good light. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to say that, and then also, what's her name? I changed her name to 412. Said she was talking about how Sonia wanted Nesto to sell the G wagon to help pay for the lawyer. Now, do you remember? We've heard so much about this G wagon, but I haven't heard that he was able to get it back. Remember, he had called Shirley and told Shirley about a lawyer was going to contact him because to they had no business taking the G wagon, and they had a body warrant, not a property warrant. All that stuff he was saying that turned out he was still wrong. But anyway, um, do y'all remember that call? And does anybody? Where is the G wagon? Do they still have it in custody? I'm assuming since they probably still have the phone, as we've just discovered, they probably still have the G wagon too. Or would it have to
Mm-hmm.
be returned because was it paid for? We know he used. Whose money did he use? Melanie Spritz's money?
Hmm.
Well, if they're holding it for evidence, they have to hold it until the trial is over.
The G wagon wasn't in her in. I think it was in his business name, and it was paid.
Right.
Hmm.
It's been paid for by ill-gotten gains allegedly. So I don't I think when he was calling, or he had Dion call Shirley about that lawyer,
Hmm.
that was to get Shirley to pay for the
Mhm.
attorney.
Mhm.
That because I like that was a ploy. He was trying to get Shirley back. I think he was trying to get Shirley back in, because I don't know if y'all heard. I don't know who's a member and who's not a member at phone calls from prison.
Mhm.
Um, they played the call where Sonia did call that lawyer.
Mhm.
That
Hmm.
one he couldn't spell, though he said Overton was Owens.
Right.
Um, they called it, and when the lawyer said how much he charges, that was when he started calling her, when Sonya banged on Dion for $250. And then he had Dion call Shirley asking, saying, or not saying, but basically saying the lawyer's going to call you, and that lawyer had already called her. And Shirley plays dumb. She's like, I don't know, yeah, somebody did call me, I don't know what he's talking, like, I don't know what they're talking about. So that, to me, that was like a ploy just to get Shirley back in the loop and to get her to start paying again, if she thought she was going to get her G wagon back.
Now that G wagon, somebody was asking about the G wagon. I believe it was paid for with Melanie Scrutchin's money, or I don't know, one of those victims' money. But even still, it was in Nesto's Elite Security. It was in that name, and we all know now that all of his companies were shell companies anyway. So I think any which way you put it, I don't see where he can get the G wagon back. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but I just don't see how he's legally entitled to that G wagon because it was registered in a shell company's name, and it was gotten with ill-gotten means.
Yeah, so it
So
could be in an impound, and when the case is all over, especially if he's found guilty, they'll just auction it off, and then
Mhm.
uh, the victims will then be paid out of that.
Mhm.
So,
yeah, because
yeah,
I imagine the ring is probably still in evidence too over there at in Roswell because they took that. So that's probably still in evidence because they did remember. Shirley said, I think Officer Fields told her that all of that was being taken to pay back the victims.
so real in the chat is saying the G wagon wasn't paid off. Now I thought I heard that too, and in that case, the finance company can come and they can get it, back. So he's on the hook now for whatever that money is. So
Mhm.
victims may not. That was it. Melanie Scratchen's money he used for the down payment, or I can't remember. Whoever of the two, they may not see any money back. If that's the case.
So then I'm wondering if the finance company comes to retrieve the car, then that after the trial,
Hmm.
then Melanice would have to file a civil suit against Ernesto.
Right. He broke.
Right.
I
Is
guess get
that
commissary maybe.
But could
Now, it
they?
is some jurisdictions where, I'm sorry, whoever I just cut off,
No,
where
you're
they
fine.
can do that, where like it'll just be restitution to the victims and then they can take a percentage from his commissary.
Ooh.
Or like if he, let's just say if he's found guilty and he decides that he wants to go through with this movie and this book, well, then the victims can benefit off of that. He won't
Mm-hmm.
see the earnings from that.
From my understanding, and this depends also on jurisdiction as well. Like when I did collections for like a finance company.
Mm-hmm.
When a vehicle was involved in a crime, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of time it would just continue to go delinquent. And then the debt would be written off eventually. Like it would, basically it go to collections, but it's the customer or the debtor still owes on it. So I think it would get it can get tied up in paperwork because that debt would get sold off to collections and whomever wants it. So it can go around. Like it might be
Yeah.
hard for her to get some get for them to get some restitution from that
Yeah.
vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Because to release the title and everything, that's gonna be
Oh
hard.
yeah, yeah. Ooh wee.
Well, now I'm gonna tell y'all, I am I'm up here. I am so sleepy now. So what I want is for everybody to give their final thoughts, or what you can't wait to see, or just whatever you want to say.
I'll go because it's my bedtime now. So I just think I'm glad to hear some Dre calls. I love this because it gives me a little more perspective about Ernest and Dre's relationship. And Nesto is just full of it, and he just ripped and ripped off and ran over everybody he could to get whatever he wanted, and now it's just coming back to bite him. And I I missed what you said about like what actual plea the lawyer entered in for him. So if you could refresh me, like what plea did his lawyer enter in?
We don't know what the plea is. We just know that on the 26th of April, his lawyer entered in a plea deal,
Okay,
a deal.
Yeah,
So
he entered a request for a plea deal.
okay. So well, I mean he's at where he has he said something about his retirement. He's at where he's gonna retire at. His retirement plan is 10 packs of noodles and 6 honey buns. So I thank you, ladies, for giving me the words of encouragement. I'm going to really, really try to focus on making a video, just at least publishing one, and I will come back here and let you guys know. Thank you so much, Legacy Moon, all of you guys, for the encouraging words.
You're
yeah,
welcome.
you have a good night.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.
I'll go next because I want to just piggyback real quick off of Vicky and let her know I offered it before. If you want to save space, go ahead and publish it. Just make it private and just DM the links to us. To a small audience if that's what makes you feel more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I should have wrote it down because now it's escaping me. um, Only other thing that I had written down or I typed out because I would forget is that early on in the conversation, and this is something that just kind of sticks with me. And I think I heard some rumblings earlier that Steve Harvey might be involved. But I just noticed how the blogs were so quiet. I mean, TSR, Neighborhood Talk, all of them, they were really quiet about these phone calls. And I have, at least, maybe it's because I'm interested in it, but a lot of stuff, the juicy bits that were being dropped is more interesting than that gossip that's just been circulating around. So I was just kind of wondering, like, why you guys are not really saying much about this. I mean, not every call may be newsworthy, but we've heard some very explosive calls, something to talk about. In other words, it'll get people talking because when I go over to their comments, there's a lot of people who do not know these calls exist, and some of them still think that they are leaked calls. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that's kind of stuck with me. So, Legacy Moon, I'd like to thank you for allowing me to come up and even promoting my channel. I really, really appreciate that.
Oh,
So,
you're always welcome.
it's giving me more of an onus to actually uh, feel so, I wouldn't say defeated, because that's definitely not what I'm feeling. But I guess hearing what you had to say and what the panel had to say, and then, like I said, I was listening to a content creator, the Nick guy. I realized that I can only be me, and I need to just let go of all those other voices and just do
Mm-hmm.
me. So again, allow me to come up, and ladies, it was great talking to you guys. This was a very good conversation. I like these kind of conversations. So of course, Legacy Moon, I can't wait for the next one.
Yes, we are going to do it again. You have a good night.
I'll go next if that's okay. Also, just want to say thank you for allowing me on the panel tonight. It's been great conversation. What I'm most looking forward to is just hearing the truth and hopefully vindication for any and all victims who are out there. to have peace, knowing that whatever's happened is in the past, and they can move forward if they haven't already.
Yes, I agree. I agree. And thank you for coming up. And I tell you, I have because I didn't know who you were. Now I actually do, but I didn't at first. And sometimes I'm so busy trying to watch the chat and pay attention to what's going on, I don't see because I get messages in the private chat too, and I don't always see them. But I thank you for your patience in dealing with.
Thank you. Likewise. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, you have
Good
a
night.
good night. Well, okay.
I can go next.
Everybody be silent.
Oh,
Yeah. No, I work at night, so I'm up. So I'm like, oh, I'll just wait. So well, I'm excited about the trial. I can't wait to physically see some of you in person. I feel like I'm just gonna hug all of you and just like I'm just so excited to meet you, in person because I feel like we've kind of created a family, with the channels that, or a family, and there's several of them, and this is one of them. Um, and I'm also excited just about learning a little bit more. And I think this is my first true crime case that I've really delved into, and I'm really seeing what I love about it. And it's allowing me to kind of not see the gore of it because I'm just so intrigued with it. So for me, I think it's about just understanding who I am a little bit more and what I like about true crime and really like, Victor DeVale, she said she was a little different. I'm very different. I don't watch TV like sitcoms. I'm always watching History Channel or documentaries. Everyone thinks I'm weird, but this is just the thing that I love. And so I'm just so grateful for this opportunity, Legacy Moon, and I appreciate you so much. And I'm just you're with me every time I'm in the kitchen cooking. I was cooking last night and I was listening to your videos. It's like what 45 minutes long, and I was listening to you again today. So I'm so grateful for you and thank you so much.
I appreciate that. I really do. I really do. And you have yourself a good night too.
Thank you, you as well, and thank you so much, Farrell Leaguish. I really, I subscribe to your channel, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love the way she thinks. I appreciate you
oh,
so
thank
much.
you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
I honestly, I appreciate the I just appreciate first of all everybody who decided to be here for this live tonight. It really does it warms my heart to know that people are interested in what I have to say because I consider myself a weird person too. And when I find people who actually want to listen and talk and just be involved in civilized conversation, I really appreciate it. So I just want to thank all of you for just even being here and watching this live. I'm done. I'm waiting for you to talk.
Well, Legacy, thank you for having me on the panel again. What am I looking forward to? I guess the trial, I think, with everybody else. And I'm kind of over the phone calls a little bit. I mean, it is entertaining, but I'm just ready for trial to get started. And that's really it as it pertains to Ernesto. But if you don't mind, tomorrow, I think I'm gonna go live. I haven't gone live in like a week. So I want to have you on my panel and Bank and I said what I said and Vicky and Sanders and whoever else. I think you could add like 10 people, but I want to talk about the cycle of abuse as it relates to celebrities and how celebrities are able to conceal abuse and why is it that when victims come forward, they're victim shamed. So kind of like the psychology of that a little bit. So we'll see how that goes, but that's my plan for tomorrow. So if you can, Legacy and everybody else,
Oh my gosh,
come over and see how I'm doing. Huh?
That is that sounds so very interesting. Yes, I'm gonna be there because that
Okay.
is right up my alley. I love that topic, and I really love for people who can shed light on it. You know, I really
Yes.
love. So yeah, I'll be there
And it
definitely.
kind of ties into like the Ernest, oh, I can't talk, the Ernesto situation too. Kind of like how our girl, who likes to victim shame and things like that. So I'm gonna try my best to get the last lawsuit read and uploaded, as well as the Rolling Stone. Actually, I think I might do the Rolling Stone article on live, and then we can use that as a segue into the just a cycle of abuse. Because I already have like my outline and all that ready. I just gotta go live. So,
Okay, that sounds good.
all
Hey,
right.
Dana J, you are late. We are getting ready to go.
Hmm.
But thank you for coming, though. Y'all, Dana J is here. So yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna have you set, and y'all I put the links to Bank's channel in the chat as well as Paralegalish, so you all will know. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and get y'all some of that subscription so y'all
Thank
can
you.
be in on the conversation because it is
Oh,
definitely going to be a good one.
okay. Before we leave, Bank said that she wants to have a content creator conversation. Okay, when? Because, you know, I know how you feel about going live, so we're gonna push you. What day this week?
Yeah, yeah. Look,
It's your
look,
turn now.
been here waiting for her to put what day because yeah.
All right.
Well, so Dana J, you were live tonight? Oh, okay, okay. Like I said, I'm gonna say it again while we're waiting for Bank to type in the chat when she wants to have this conversation. I want to again just thank everybody. And the funny part about it is, we're all saying our good nights, and we're all here saying that we've come to a close, and y'all are still sitting here, and
Mhm.
I so much appreciate that. I really do. Did
It's
they?
just I like the energy. It's just a change. It's not catty. It's very calm. I like the fact that you respect everybody and their opinions. I like the way the conversation flows. Nobody's talking over each other. And we're all mature adults with opinions, and I like that you respect that. And you respect us, we respect you, and I just like coming over here. I really do.
Thank you. You'll find that most times when I do go live, it will be a panel because I do content like every day I load something up and I do my stories and that's edited stuff. But when I go live, I want the conversations to be about some of the things that are going on in the world as far as true crime and even if it's not my video, then somebody else's video that they've posted if they want to come over and talk about it. Because to me, that's what it's all about. Because I can do my solo content on my own, but when I'm up here and I'm going live, I just think it's better when you have different viewpoints flowing with different ideas and different opinions for people to say things to make you think and go, oh yeah, I never thought about that before. So I mean, yeah, I really appreciate that.
All right, now what bank talking about? Mm, okay.
She gonna put,
Um,
yeah. But yeah, I am getting ready to close shop because I'm usually a night owl. Half the time I have insomnia, and now for the last 30 minutes, I have been yawning like you would not believe.
did you drink enough water today?
Oh my gosh, yes. I drank so much water today that I keep wondering where it's evaporating to because I just keep drinking it and drinking it. That's my main thing. If I have a soda, I don't drink one every day unless I'm really, really craving one every day. But for the most part, I don't. I mostly drink water. That's my thing. I
But
don't.
you know what? I learned when I was in nursing school, I think, and Sanders can help me out. When you talk, you lose water too. I think
Ah,
I remember them teaching us that. Like it's different ways that your body loses water that you don't realize.
Yeah, because I would have never guessed that. Well, I really ought
Yeah.
to be right about now. And
I hope I didn't make that up, but yeah, I
I
think I
try not
remember
to
that.
do this time of night because I'm lazy and I don't want to get up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. So I
Hmm.
kind of take little sips by this time of night. So,
Yeah.
and look at this. People are still here in the chat. Love it. I love it.
They don't want us to go.
No, let me see. Dana J says, "Do you use hydro packs with your water?" No, no. I just straight up water now. Every now and then, sometimes when I get a migraine, I have like a metal taste in my mouth. So I'll use that. I don't know who it's by. I can't remember right now, but it's lemon like crystals, and I'll put like a little bit of lemon crystals, or they have lime. I'll put a little bit of that in there and drink it, but I don't. I don't add too much to my water like that. But there is Crystal Light has a thing. You know how they have the drink you squeeze and add the stuff to your water? Well, they have a blackberry lemonade. And I love anything blackberry. And that blackberry lemonade is so good. So, but those are just the only things that I really add to my water. Other than that, it's just straight up water. I do like, plain old lemon too. I will do that sometimes. But I said what I said. Can't I can't leave. I'm modding, girl. If you gotta go to bed, go to bed. I'm sure nobody is going to cuss me out in this late in the game. So yeah, go ahead if you ready to go, go. But I'm trying to tell you, y'all, I'm going because I am ready to go to bed.
All right, we can go. I'm still oiling my scalp, so I'm gonna be up for a little bit.
Oh wow. Yeah, I hate that. It's such a chore. But like I
Mm-hmm.
said, I appreciate everybody. And Simply Lemon, is that what it's called? Maybe so. I don't know. But anyway, I appreciate y'all being here. I'm gonna start talking crazy in a moment.
Okay,
But thank you for all the
okay.
content creators. Dana J, I don't have your link. So I wish I do you know your link right quick, Dana J, so you could throw it in the chat? Because that would be cool. I don't have any problem with anybody promoting anybody's channel or for anybody you know putting their link in. I mean, it's YouTube, but you're going to listen to who you want to listen to. So I really don't have a problem with people sharing um that type of information. I'm gonna tell y'all don't fall over, but I would even let Sylvia put her link in if she happens to come over here. I would, because hey, if y'all want to sit through her stuff, y'all can. So I would. I was trying to stall around and wait for Dana J, but he hasn't put his link in. I'll get it next time. Cause I am going to bed, y'all. Y'all have yourselves a good night. Be safe. Hi, Pam, the wire designer. Are you just getting here? You were in the bush. Okay. All right. So y'all, because I will keep on talking. Y'all
All right, we clicking off.
Y'all have a good night. Everybody click off and look for everybody's videos. Good night.
Good night.